Initial jobless claims data just coming through here. 210,000 week over week. Number expected was 216,000, so downside ever so slightly there. Continuing claims 1.8 million versus about the same. It's basically a flat print on that. If I get rid of some of these, we'll be able to see that. There it is. 1.815 on the continuing claims number there. Those are basically the two biggest prints that we'll get today. We do get PMI data coming up at 9:45, and then some home sales numbers at 10 o'clock this morning. We do have Fed's bar coming through later on today at 12 o'clock as well. Keep that in mind. It's not on this calendar, but I was seeing this morning on another calendar that Powell is scheduled to speak again at 9 a.m. on Friday. So I'm going to do some digging on that and see if we can't reference something else that says the same thing coming up tomorrow morning, but keep that in mind as well. Market back to S&P anyways, back to all-time highs at the end of the day yesterday, coming off a very dovish Fed Chair Powell yesterday at that press conference. We'll get into some of the comments and what that could mean potentially going forward. Everybody basically pointing to June now, saying, yeah, there's a cut coming in June. So we'll check out the CME Fed Funds tool coming up as well. A lot of things moving around here. Micron, huge move to the upside on better than expected earnings for yet another semiconductor name. So we'll talk about that. Tesla back on watch as well. There's Li Auto downside. They've revised their delivery numbers to the downside as well. So under a bit of pressure here this morning. It's Thursday, March 21st, 2024. Tradertv.live starts now. Yeah, Apple was downside here to start things off as well on a DOJ note this morning. We're already, though, trying to get back to basically where we ended the session yesterday. Still definitely lagging the overall market. Overall market up basically 1% here to start things off, 0.5% for the S&P. Again, if you missed it there this morning coming through, we had initial jobless claims data and continuing claims data that were basically in line with expectations. Again, some PMI numbers at 9:45 this morning. Housing numbers coming up at 10 o'clock. There's, we're way up here. 1 full percent for the NASDAQ. It was an all-time record high close for the S&P yesterday. NASDAQ didn't quite get there, but we're definitely set to open at 1 potentially this morning either. I mean, this is a little surprising, I have to say. I was expecting him to come out and throw cold water on everything yesterday. It was exactly the opposite. Yeah. When he was questioned about these inflation prints that came out 2 in a row, remember last week, higher than expected, he kind of shook it off and said seasonality. Exactly. All is well.
Yeah, well, he specifically said seasonality for January. February could be, a bit of a, I don't even know what to say.
A blip.
Yeah, a blip. Perfect. Thank you. We'll have to see exactly how we do the rest of the day. But as you mentioned, S&P 500 at all-time highs. Jobs numbers coming in a little bit weaker than expected. He mentioned the jobs market yesterday and the continued strength there. So, we'll have to wait and see when we get the first cut. But we're going to get 3. Hopefully.
Yeah. Bank of England, meanwhile, comes out this morning, holds as well, following suit with what happened with Fed yesterday. They're still at 5.25, but also this is now accelerating the talk in favor of not only what we heard from the Bank of Canada, now the Fed yesterday, and now the Bank of England, all kind of pointing towards June potentially as the first time we could get a 1/4 point cut. So I was a little bit surprised by that. The market reacted accordingly. As we said, S&P back to all-time highs when all was said and done yesterday. NASDAQ there or thereabouts. Neil off, enjoying a much-needed vacation here, guys. Good morning. Obi's in today.
Good morning.
Good morning, Obi.
How are you
Much
doing?
needed vacation.
Yeah.
Lucky guy. Okay, how's it going?
It's going all right.
Good, yeah, it's going pretty good over here. The markets are going well, and we can see that by, again, a new all-time high. So we'll celebrate that today. We'll celebrate Micron. We talked about that on the recap show. I was like, oh my God, Micron came and saved everybody. So and I say that because if they reported the other way and guided a little bit lower, then I think we could have seen a little bit of a continued downside push there. Instead, NVIDIA's breaking highs right now at 922. So we're going to be looking at some of those chip names as Micron up 17%, play those dip buys. We really like that one. But no, I think I don't think the market cares. Like what Brendan and Sharif were saying there, I don't think it matters when we have the rate cuts or anything. It's just the Fed seems to be on the side of the markets and on the side of trying to get things figured out. So I think we stay the course. You buy the best names and you just keep on going with the plan of action, dollar cost average, buy the NASDAQ, buy the best names, and continue. Like, I'm surprised. Like, we have this Fed decision, and then NVIDIA pushes these highs again. There's nothing stopping these markets.
Yeah, I think stonks only go up, and I think it's quite fitting that Reddit is IPOing today as well. Kind
That's
of a big one on watch. So yeah,
you were just yelling at our guy Josh over there because of how much different Reddit's going to be than yesterday's.
Yeah, I was just
A-Lab.
like, you can't expect it to be exactly the same. It's a different kind of company. It might have like a different crowd, but you don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But the thing is, like, I don't want to prime my mindset before going into the IPO, being like, oh, if it's going to be like yesterday, I'm gonna, it's already, yeah. So I was just like, yeah, no, don't do that. Just expect nothing. See what you see, and if there's a trade there, it'll show up.
Yeah, what was that line you said? Expect nothing. You said a wicked line to him.
Yeah, I was like, expect nothing. If you see it there, trade it.
Yeah, basically,
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. I don't know. It was in the
React
moment.
to what
It
you
was
see, basically.
Yeah, exactly. If
It was
the trade
an
is there, just
amazing
react
line.
to it.
But anyways, I don't know. Is anybody on our floor, on the audience here, anybody watching? Are you guys going to be trading Reddit? Let us know there in the chat. And if you are, yeah, we have a poll, but I want to know if they're going to be trading it. Are you guys going to be trading it today on open, going long, going short? Which way do you guys prefer? And yeah, I think that would be really fun.
What did you vote?
When I voted, what's Reddit?
Yeah, same.
Yeah, so nice one.
Nice.
No, I don't think so. For me as an investor, IPOs just kind of left a sour taste in my mouth. But I think always early days. Like, we had ARM hovering around 50 for quite a while.
Yeah.
Bouncing 60, bouncing underneath.
ARM IPO was great.
IPO price. No, eventually it was great.
Yeah.
But if you look at here, did you see what it was doing for the first little bit?
Yeah.
I mean, it was fine, but it wasn't doing much. It gave all of us, what I was going to get at is, it gave all of us a huge opportunity once this started. There it is. So look, here's IPO day for ARM. So ARM goes up to $65. The very next day hits 75. Then a week later, you're at 50. And then, Obi, you break 50. The story didn't change for ARM. Everybody knew what it was all about. Then all of a sudden, we have those bottoms in October, and as most of the market, or the whole market, my bad, goes all the way up, then you bounce in again, you come into the 50 period, and then it's earnings bonanza, and then it's boom to the upside. So I really feel like you want to wait to make sure you get support in IPOs, but for a first day trade, I think it's going to be a good one, and I'll probably go long immediately off the open. Let me see a bottom at some point, because it's going to be priced apparently at the higher end, right? 34 versus 31. Yep. So it was between 31 and 35. It's going to be priced at 34, but with the interest probably going to come out 42.
Yeah, we'll see what it comes.
But it's an NYSE one, Brendan and Sharif. So we know that could take a while to open. Yesterday's was around 12:31-ish?
It was like around 1 o'clock.
Yeah, so maybe we'll expect the same today.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's the over-under on getting this thing before lunchtime? And I think it's probably a bit of a stretch. But yeah, let's see for Reddit coming up today when they actually get this thing trading. Let's just do a quick recap here of what happened if you were off the desk or doing something else yesterday. When all was said and done, we get to all-time highs, as we said. Back from a bit of a dip yesterday. That was this morning actually. This is yesterday. 1.25% for the NASDAQ, 0.9 for the S&P, 1% for the Dow was at all-time highs as well. Russell up better part of 2%. That thing's been under a lot of pressure. Anytime the market gets a downtick, the Russell always the one to feel it the most. 0.7 here this morning, 0.35. It's more than that now. About 0.5% for the S&P here. The Russell about 0.5% as well. A number of interesting names, as we said, moving around. Micron to the upside in a really, really big way. Great report from them. There's a few others to be aware of. Lululemon coming, FedEx coming, Nike coming, all after the close tonight.
Yeah, those are going to be big. I want to see exactly how Lulu does. Lulu's been able to weather their storm when people weren't spending. Lulu continued to do well. Not the case for Nike. Nike's had a lot of trouble. They've been trying to switch to a direct-to-consumer business and forego some of the middle people, Dick's Sporting Goods, Foot Locker, etc., trying to increase its margins. It's been, A little bit okay, a little bit not so okay. FedEx, though, I need to have my eye on that. That is a bellwether. It's reflective of the overall economy. Got to pay attention to that.
Yeah, not typically a day trading stock, if you will, for FedEx, but we do get a bit of a higher level look at how things are doing. Here's Lulu. Channel your inner Michael Noss here. Looking like this thing is starting to curl back to the upside a little bit, just below that 475, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think earnings are tough to play ahead of earnings because, unfortunately, we don't know what said earnings are going to be.
Right.
But I think Brendan just nailed it on the head there. You want to look for companies that you like that are potentially forming up. I've talked about this on the podcast with Nike. You know, I think the bar is pretty low for this name right now. It's pulled back into $100. We were just up here 105, 106. Just the last couple of weeks, we've pulled back in. I think China had a higher CPI print, so they pretty decently as well. So they're spending money over there, and I think Nike, a solid brand, continuing to push forward. I know we didn't get the greatest look from Foot Locker or anything like that, but the retail side isn't the greatest. But, you know, Nike's such a huge manufacturing. They sell everything athletically. I mean, the shoes aren't going anywhere. They have Ross stores and things like that. You know, different off retailers that sell the older inventory. The sneaker resale game isn't as hot, I don't think, as it used to be. But it doesn't mean that people aren't, you know, still going out and buying.
And you don't
right?
have much of a...
And the other part about it is Adidas finally grabbed a loss. So they suffered their first loss. I think since, I don't know, 5 or 10 years, something like that. And, you know, a down quarter for them on sales could be a negative thing for Nike, or it could be the other way around. People are potentially buying that brand instead of Adidas or Reebok or whatever. You ever heard anybody talk about Reebok lately?
No, not really. I think when it
Under Armour?
When it comes to Nike, like I don't really...
They're a dividend aristocrat as well. They pay about 1.75% or something and have continuously raised pretty much every quarter. It's not a huge dividend or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah.
But I don't know. That's
all I know is that whenever I walk by the Nike store, it's pretty packed.
Yeah.
So
yeah. The thing is, they also have.
There are people definitely buying their product. That's for sure.
They do have a good online business as well. You can customize. I got a couple different customized pairs of shoes and stuff like that. So it's fun. It's good stuff. But again, you have to wait. The thing about it, honestly, there's so much of it is China too. Like we're going to talk about Tesla today, and that they're going to be up. They had a nice day yesterday. They've had a nice little run here, and it's because they're starting to sell a little bit more cars in Europe. So they've been able to get exposure to potentially a new market. Like when I was in Italy this summer, I didn't see one Tesla, I don't think, in the city of Rome.
Really?
You know what I mean? Like go just walk outside right now and just stand on Bay Street for 30 seconds.
Yeah, you'll see a couple for sure.
Yeah, a couple. There you go. So I was going to say one, but a couple for sure. And then, so I think that that's a new market for them.
Teslas are very abundant.
Anyways, back Nike. Oh, you know what the thing was? See, this is the other thing. Someone just said this. We saw this yesterday, Chewy. So they came out. See, this is a good example. Okay, Chewy came out yesterday. We had this on the recap show. I believe they actually had a really good quarter.
Bless you.
So they go all the way up. You good over there, my guy? All right. It goes all the way up to $20 right here, right? Starts to think about breaking, and then all of a sudden they guide lower. And then it's like, boom. You know, disaster hits. We've seen that so many different times in this space where you could have a good quarter, but then you guide a little lower. Are you sandbagging, or is it what you actually foresee? I think companies almost shouldn't guide really, unless they have some sort of material reason why they think it's going one way or the other. We saw that with Adobe. Adobe had a great quarter, so did Palo Alto, and they guided slightly lower, and we saw the hit there, ADBE. I mean, we even talked about, holy crap. Oh my gosh, we talked about buying Adobe. So here's the
500 bounce.
Look, they did not miss on their quarter. Okay,
right.
They guided lower. So the problem is they come right into here and everyone's like, oh, that's good. So they guided lower. Okay, so we'll discount this stock $40 billion because they guided 500 million lower. You know, so we'll do that. And then boom goes the dynamite. Then everyone's like, huh? And then goes straight back up to the upside, potentially sold off a little bit too far. And then we had the same situation with Palo Alto. Palo Alto's come back a little bit since then, but the same reaction where you get a huge move down into support again, which is right here, and then a nice move up to the 50 period. Palo Alto, though, this might be a good buy now as well. Look at it holding out at 280.
Yeah, no, that's what I've noticed as well, Sean. Like the earnings can come out one way, but it's usually a lot more weighted on the forward guidance. And I think maybe I've just heard people say this market is forward looking, right? So
Yeah,
it's forward
very
looking.
much
So it's like people
It's not
care.
backward looking.
Well, yeah, things can only go up, down, or to the right. But
Give me one play. You're a young guy. If someone asked you what was one stock that you could put $1,000 in right now and not even look at it for 5 years, which stock would you choose? Just $1,000. If you could put it for 5 years. No pressure. Just what would you think? First thing, Amazon? Is that because of your Obi, or is that you really mean that?
maybe a little bit of both.
Okay, good. That's fine. Yeah, trade what you know, invest what you know. I like it. Amazon. Okay, there it is. Obi's with Amazon. You know what? I would choose NVIDIA.
I'm not an investor. I have no idea.
I have no idea either. Okay, back over to the desk.
All right, Rahim Alani, Managing Director of OCI Group's with us this morning from sunny Mexico. I sent you a message, Rahim. What temperature is it right now?
I think it's about 24, 25. It's early in the morning. It's about 7:30 here.
Okay,
So.
amazing. And that's whereabouts are you? Sean's having a bit of an issue with this right now.
It's gonna get up to about 28 today, guys.
Only 28. Amazing.
But also to Sean's point, there's not many Teslas here.
No. Yet. Anyways, it was minus 14, or it felt like minus 14 when I left my place this morning, Rahim. So you're heading in the right direction today. Are you where are you, Tulum?
No, just outside of Cancun.
Outside of Cancun, amazing. Enjoy, much deserved and much needed. Let's talk a little bit about copper today, because it's been on a pretty impressive tear, and we have to say we don't really discuss this, I think, enough. Yeah. As a trading option and a trading tool when it comes to the mining side of things. Give us your take here from a higher level. Why have we seen this recent move to the upside?
Yeah, we're definitely seeing copper move to the right direction for all the fans of the brown metal. The amount of copper that's going to be needed, like you and I have talked about this many times over the last couple of years. It is a proxy for what is going to be needed, whether you look at a rebuild in a country, whether you want to look at electric vehicles, you want to look at infrastructure. Copper is one of the metals that is going to be needed in a dramatic fashion over the coming, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And we all know, or at least I've espoused that, there's going to be a shortage of available copper. And so we're seeing smelting companies now saying they're cutting back, to Sean's point about guidance a little bit earlier. They are starting to cut back their guidance because they're not going to have enough product to get into the smelting process. So there's going to be cutbacks there. That's going to cause the price of copper to now move upwards like we're seeing here. Another thing that we do think is going to be dramatic is, like I said, just the fact there is going to be not enough rock produced and out there, that companies are now going to need to do more things to get access to copper. And that's where we started getting into the equities market. The larger producers do move pretty closely with the price of copper. The smaller guys do get the tailwinds, either from lower production levels or from M&A targets. So I think we will see a lot of movement in the price of copper. People are suggesting up to a 75% increase by 2025. And I think we stated that at the beginning of the year. So we're a quarter of the way right already.
When it comes to, we've discussed this M&A activity in other areas of the mining world of late. There's been more coming through with the focus on and the attention on copper. Give us the lowdown here with this Grupo Mexico.
So Grupo Mexico is one of the larger copper players in the world, and they have grown through its own organic plays in Mexico and into the south. Now, one of the things that did come out in scuttlebutt in the last couple of months, the last 60 days, was them looking at First Quantum's assets. First Quantum is one of those companies that we've talked about a great deal because of a variety of factors that the audience has probably kept on top of. But one of the larger plays in Spain is called Las Cruces. And First Quantum owns that. And the rumor was that they were putting it up for sale. And the first thought that it was going to be Chinese investors. And then sort of mid to late January, word came that Grupo Mexico had been there and had been looking to buy it. So Grupo Mexico is a very, very large company, solid cash flows. But like I said, with some of these larger companies looking to backfill, it was interesting to see them being talked about in the world of Spain. I did run into one of their people in Toronto a little while ago and in Spain a little while ago, and they didn't really say much about it, and they sort of denied it, obviously, because that's what you're supposed to do when you're a forward-looking company. You don't talk about the deals that you're doing, but it was interesting to see them tied to the Las Cruces asset in Spain.
There's a lot of different ways we can go here as far as individual companies are concerned. You mentioned FM there. There's as far as larger names are concerned, tell us a little bit about CS and HBM here.
So yeah, those are some of the bigger companies as well. So you look at a Capstone, big market cap, and it does trade on a. That's one of the ones that'll tie a little bit more closely to the price of base metals. And like you said, it's a great looking stock chart right there. It does move closely with the price of base metals, particularly with copper. So it has done exceptionally well over the last short term, and it's getting up towards its 52-week highs. That's why I thought this one might be worth a look to see, will it break past its 52-week highs, or will it continue to trade within that bound? Hudbay is the other one that you had mentioned. Again, same thing. More North American focused assets. They are trading about halfway to 2/3 of the way up to their 52-week highs, and see how that one trades with the price of copper. So if you do take the long-term view on copper and where copper is going to be needed across all the different areas that we've talked about, you may look at these two in particular, along with First Quantum, as proxies for where the price of copper goes and where these equities go with the price of copper.
And then if somebody's looking for something a little bit smaller on the cap size and lower on the price side of things, let's talk about one we've mentioned on this show many times before, Hispania Resources.
Yeah, that's a company I'm on the board of, so I do have a fondness for it for sure. We are seeing investor interest come. We are seeing price start to get towards its 52-week high there as well. And the company hasn't put out much news yet. And again, to the guy's points earlier, you make available to the market what you need to make available, and as soon as you know it. So the company has acquired its 3 big assets and are looking to continue to grow now in Spain. And like I said, with Grupo Mexico looking there, with other people being in Spain, we think it's an interesting place. Amazing infrastructure. You can ride right to site in your lawyer's car, as an example. You don't need to fly 6 hours to a remote location, take a truck, driving up and down a mountain for 4 hours. You can get right to site within a couple of hours. So that gave us a big fondness for what's happening in Spain. And so we wanted to be a participant in that. So we are excited about the opportunities that we've got with Hispania.
Rahim, enjoy your time in beautiful Mexico and enjoy the temperatures down there. We appreciate you doing this morning.
Thank you. I have 2 special guests I wanted to hop in, if that's okay.
Oh, sure, of course. Always.
I've got my little guy here.
There he is.
And I've got my nephew here. They both wanted to say hi to everybody.
Hi, guys. Hi, guys.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right. Thanks, Rahim.
Bye.
I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, that's why you want to go on those vacations, spend those moments, and thank you to Rahim. I wouldn't have been blabbing on and on and on. I didn't realize that guy was just waiting there. But thank you so much, Rahim, for spending time to come forward and do that. Look, I think commodities are going to be hot. I mean, you could see here if inflation, especially if that starts to heat up again, I could see we get going. We saw gold break out highs. And yeah, I like those plays. Rahim always brings the goods there. Rewind if you need to know some of those names. But yeah, thanks for that. And I just think that, hey, you got to sort of diversify. We always talk about tech names around here. It's great to have a guest like Rahim come on and explain, some of the metal names and some of the different names and some of the miners, cannabis names, some of the lower level tiered, I keep saying the word names, but equities or whatnot that you can get involved with. And I think that you need to be invested in some kind of a metal. Whether or not you go with copper, you get some FCX or whatever he's talking about. I like those plays, but again, I don't know.
What do you think about silver?
So it's funny because I was reading something about how all these, there's actually having outflows in gold right now as it reaches to all-time highs. Mm-hmm. So it's not like money's actually even pouring into gold. But I know you just mentioned silver. I haven't looked at silver in a minute. I've always thought that silver was just kind of like, again, more manipulated. Remember we had, during Wall Street Bets, there was a report about, I guess, people were really short silver, and then they tried to run that up, and then that didn't go anywhere. But it's really, actually, now that you bring that up, we are about to break out right now. And I didn't actually realize where we were at for silver. So this is a daily chart. I don't know why this isn't going back any further than that. But you might be onto something right now as gold. Is this something you're looking at? Because we'll have to.
Yeah, because I'm looking at gold pushing all-time highs, and I'm like, all right, well, in terms of like a range, I see that silver has a higher likelihood to potentially push it's at $23.
Its 52-week high is 23.94.
It can push like 100%, whereas gold pushing 100% is a little bit of a stretch. Versus silver's got a lot of room.
You see, like, this is pretty boring, right? Like $20 up to $23. So it really hasn't moved anywhere basically in 2 years, let alone if you go all the way back here to 2020. You're at the same levels you were at for the last 4 years. But nice dip buys. You know what? Let me ask some of the people that we have on about this one, because we never talk about silver, and potentially maybe there's a break there. Anybody in the chat know anything about silver? Let's go over to Adara to find out the upgrades and downgrades.
Of tech names on the upgrade side of the list here. Broadcom getting an upgrade from TD Cowen. This follows that price target increase to 1,400 that we saw midday yesterday. Nice look across the board for AVGO. Micron getting another, also from TD Cowen here, getting an upgrade, trading very nicely after its earnings yesterday after the close. NVIDIA, another TD Cowen semiconductor upgrade today, raising the price target to 1,100 as the last day of its GTC conference gets started. And Oracle getting upgrade here as well from KeyBank Capital Management. Downgrades, we have Centene kicking off the list, getting a downgrade from Stephens. KeyBank downgrading Asana here. KeyBank also downgrading Adobe. ADBE getting a little bit of a move to the downside. And last but not least, Five Below trading down about 12% after earnings, getting a downgrade from Telsey Advisory Group, guys.
Thank you, Adara.
I mean, you saw that whole left side was like all tech names, Micron, Oracle, NVIDIA. I don't know. Are these analysts getting lazy?
I think they just they might just be like, oh, this is hot. I don't know.
No, but it's just like, you know what?
They get paid a lot of big bucks to do what they do. I have no idea what they're doing.
Right. We're just gonna let's just upgrade NVIDIA, or upgrade Oracle. But you know what? They have good reasons to do all this. And I mean, you look at Oracle's chart. I mean, we were really lucky. I don't know if it's lucky or not, but we did that same strategy, and we actually did it back in the September quarter, and we had first bought down here around 11. I think it was 111 or so. We did like our 2 or 3 day rule where you drop in there and then you fell back in again, and we bought into here somewhere, and then it did go against us, and we were buying against this $100 level on Oracle. Another bad quarter there in December. Brought them back in and gave us another opportunity to dip buy against a $100 level. I mean, and we talked about Adobe doing those same things, and now they go bad quarter, good quarter, plus momentum in the market, plus NVIDIA partnerships. I mean, I don't know, I kind of feel stupid saying that because every company's going to have something. Apple with this Omniverse and everything. And so anyways, right now you are breaking higher on Oracle. So out of all of those, I don't know if you had an opinion on any of the other names, but I think Oracle for me would be one of those jams today. It's only done 25,000 shares. So I think a pullback into 129 here, right here, like 129.50 if the market comes back. But you're up 1%, so I don't want to buy tops right now. But yeah, 129.50, 130. Anything tickling your fancy on that list, or
just Micron, because I have it up earnings day one as well, so they get a little bit of a upgrade as well. So yeah, I do have it on watch. Let's see what it does. It is pushing all-time highs here, so I'm gonna have it on watch.
All right,
that's all I'm saying.
Let's go back to the desk.
Discover the future with VinFast at the Vancouver International Auto Show 2024. Explore their debut lineup from the stylish VF6 and VF7 to the luxurious VF8 and VF9. Experience cutting-edge technology and unparalleled design tailored for everyday lifestyle. Join their booth number 11, Vancouver Convention Center, March 19th through the 24th. It's on right now. VinFast, elevating green mobility. All right, let's get a check of the overall market to kick things off here at 9 o'clock. Sharif's going to do that with a look at the futures.
52.87, guys. That's where we closed off yesterday on the ES June contract. All-time highs. The current place where we're at, the overnight high, 53. 15, that's an all-time high as well. So nothing to chart with respect to resistance, just to say maybe look at the 50-point and the 100-point levels incrementally. But to the downside, let's see if we can hold out yesterday's close, which is just below 5,300, 52.87.
If you have not done so, make sure you grab the absolutely free watch list. Every single day it comes right to your inbox. All you need is an email address. Scan the QR code, go to tradertv.live, enter said email address. And that's about it. It's super easy. Let's have a look at Micron here. 17.5% almost to the upside. 113 coming into play this morning. We were all the way down here, $95 yesterday. A beat across the board for MU.
I guess what really showed me that this was going to do well was when Jensen brought that big H100 GPU and put it on his kitchen table like he was about to cook it up, and he mentioned obviously that there was Micron DRAM in there. No, seriously guys, revenue increased 58% year over year to $5.82 billion on the quarter. There is ridiculous amount of demand for their DDR5 as well as SSD and DRAM, NAND technologies, you name it. They're looking at also their guidance is a lot higher than what the street was expecting. $6 billion in revenue for the next quarter. They're guiding 6.4 to 6.8, so big beat.
Well, this is just one of many analyst moves this morning on Micron, but the JP Morgan going to, or maintaining overweight. $130 price target. We're at 113 here, guys. Where's the trade this morning?
Wild move.
Yeah, an absolutely wild move. I actually just tweeted it out on the sticky note here that we were just going to try to follow as we always do on these earnings plays. And I think we just try to do the same kind of stuff here. Look, as trader Danielle Shea, who will be on later tonight with me on the market recap show, she says buy the dips and especially stick with the trend when you get bigger beats than expected. So Micron yesterday, it's going to be on the list here. Let's take VWAP or pre-market high. I actually didn't write down, I actually didn't write down any specific levels on this one, Obi, because I don't really, if we zoom in here, I mean, so this is what it looks like right now. I feel like it's a little risky to be trading this in here, although the volume is fine to do it. The market's up 1%. This stock has skyrocketed up here today, but in the pre-market, so forget about like sort of what happened here this morning into 8 o'clock. Let's just deal with that from here. $112 has been the bottom, right? I mean, you could wick down to that 166, but who cares, 1166. So I'd say you'd want to play a dip into 12. But we've done this before on companies' earnings where you sit here, and I remember specifically, I think it was Intel, so I shouldn't be specifically, but I remember specifically what happened. And that was that we layered into some of these levels. And then we got into long at 112. It broke. And then it looked like it was trying to hold 111.50, for example. So then what do, Obi? I buy 111.50s. Then that doesn't hold. Then that breaks 111. And then next thing I know, I'm like, oh, well, now it's down $2. Maybe 110 is good. And then it breaks 110. And the next thing you know, you're trying to catch this falling sword because you like the stock and you like the quarter. So I feel like there's two ways to trade this. Either what I wrote down was we trade back into VWAP, but now we're well under it. We're writing this note when we're up here and VWAP's down here. Now that we're under, I really feel like we have to wait until we see some kind of support. Because again, you're up 10% expected move. You get 17%. It's in a sector that's been super hot. There's been 3 or 4 upgrades in the last week alone on Micron. It's been on our watch list. I've had it written down as long a bunch of times on here. We remember we were long 92. We were long 93. We were long all of these prices in here on Micron. It's still dipped in every time. We've had 3 or 4 nice updates. Remember, we talked about upgrades, people getting excited into it. Obviously, we have a great report yesterday, great release from the Fed. And now we get up to the upside. And then if you look at a daily chart also, we've well broken. This might take a while to load up, but we were bumping up on highs here back in the day, near $100, and now there it is. So now we've broken up through this, and boom goes the dynamite. Highs, the way to play it, to answer Brennan's question, long-winded, is we have to wait for support, or if there is no support and it just takes off, I think you just punch this 114.
Yeah, no, I like that look, Sean. I'm looking for something similar as well. I like that. I like the idea of the pre-market high. Let's see what it can do. VWAP definitely going to be interesting to see if there's any participants that potentially like that VWAP area. But yeah, definitely in play today on watch, blasting through these previous highs, as Sean just said. 102 previous high right here. just last week in the first week of March. March 8th, we made that high, and then today off of earnings and a little bit of an upgrade as well this morning. We are kind of sustaining some of these levels off of the earnings reaction here. So yeah, I'll be watching that 110, that 114, 115. If we continue to the upside, we're going to get some fresh prices, and I think there I'm just going to leave it up to a little bit more of a tape read. But yeah, Micron definitely on watch today.
All right, let's go on to Apple here. Downside, it's been relatively weak. There's a DOJ story about Apple today, and I just typed in DOJ instead of the ticker symbol for Apple. Anyway, downside a little bit here. 0.65 right now in the pre-market. We did have a nice move yesterday after the Fed, right across the board. The entire market basically closed at high. Apple, one of those names, but as I mentioned, back downside here this morning.
Yeah, I think there might be a company or two that this FTC or DOJ still hasn't gone after. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe they'll go after somebody else. But no, in all seriousness, Dan Ives opining on this yesterday, basically saying we do not expect any business model changes for now, but Apple clearly is going to have to find a way to eventually settle this case, pay a hefty fine, he's assuming here, so he doesn't think this is going to go to trial, and ultimately find some sort of compromise with developers. At issue here is hardware and software restrictions, as well as how they conduct business in the App Store, and the 30% that they take off the top. We already saw Europe move forward with this, so we'll have to see exactly how it's panning out there, Brendo. Maybe it foreshadows what's going to happen here.
Just seeing a spike there in oil. Don't see a reason for it, but just a heads up, some oil names just flashed in front of me. It was a lot worse than this. We have recovered most back to basically where it ended the day yesterday for Apple, guys.
I mean, is this because this is one of those famed Bloomberg reports that is saying that they are preparing to file? No, I think they'll probably do something there. The DOJ needs to be paid. And I always talk about this. I think I was saying this to you the other day.
Yeah, we were having
like, if the SEC doesn't investigate companies, then they're not going to be able to charge an SEC fee. And then, you know, the whole thing falls down. If lawyers can't create long-lasting court cases, then they don't get paid as much. But the DOJ just has to do their job, and if they want to investigate Apple's practices, then fine. It wouldn't be the first time that something like this has happened, and it definitely is not going to be the last time. So I say you just stay the course with Apple. Obviously, I'm long Apple. We've talked about that very, much in detail, as I think many of us are. But at the end of the day, we talked about Nike and thinking that potentially China, and I don't know if China is a sort of a house of cards over there or not. I'm not aggressively invested in China at all. My biggest exposure would be Starbucks, Apple, and Nike, and then we did buy some Alibaba. But this is an American investigation. Apple is the largest taxpayer in America, will continue to be that way probably forever. So let's just wait to see what comes of this. I think it's a good opportunity to buy the dips, apparently as do others, and let's just see what happens with Apple. But you may notice today, it's not anywhere on my radar. And the reason for that is exactly what we just said. I don't know how the market's going to react to this. We were hella long yesterday, my guy.
Oh, yeah.
We had 175 long. We had a bunch of different spots that we've been into this name over the last couple days. But that's because we had confidence in the long. We had some levels to play off of. Now, all of a sudden, if this is something and the market is weak today, I could see Apple getting hit the most out of all the big tech names. I could see strength in chips. We know why. We talked about that. See story one. And then we could have weakness in Apple, which we've seen before. It's not like this is a surprise. We've seen this name, get hit to the downside. But look at this, bouncing off 176.50. This could be a good little level down here if you are interested in Apple. So 176.50 could be a buy zone, but I'd rather play other names today. Little uncertainty with Apple.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right on the resilience that Apple has had through all of its issues there. And yeah, just looking at the chart here, yesterday off of the FOMC, we had quite some strength. Again, going into the close after hours, I was looking at, I was doing some scans, and I was like, oh, what's going on? Apple's already doing the reversion, and it's not even the morning session yet. And I looked up what it was. Yeah, a little bit of a trouble with the DOJ, but it seems like it's taking it quite well as it just kind of claims the trend that we've been having for the past couple of days and continues to bid back up off of that sell. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see, but definitely other names a little bit more in play today. But if we can push some of these highs, I think that we may have some room to go. But again, Apple definitely not one of my main watches on today, but on watch for sure.
All right, big day for the IPO industry, or IPOs once again returning. At some point today, we'll get Reddit coming to market, the first notable name in quite some time. We had that A-Lab yesterday. That was a bit of a fun trade as well. But Reddit going to debut at some point today on the NYSE. Wedbush, Dan Ives calling this a watershed moment for tech. Bit of a stretch.
Yeah, well, look, Brendo, there's a lot of people talking about this IPO could make or break the rest of the IPO season for this year, because if it's not traded well, it may dissuade others from launching. So we'll have to wait and see. The range for the IPO price, $31 to $34, as Sean mentioned. That gives it a valuation of about 6.4. In all fairness, though, this is essentially a down round. They raised money in the private market in 2021 with a valuation of $10 billion, so that almost got cut in half. As I mentioned, the wider implications of this and the share distribution. They're giving some employees as well as moderators, even users, active users, shares, and there's going to be no lockout period. So those taking those shares can sell them today technically. So this could make for a very volatile day.
It's been a long time coming. If you remember, even going back to the pandemic a couple of years, I mean, it was, I guess, Stripe and Reddit were the two sitting on the sidelines that everyone were talking about. So today's the day, guys. We'll get at least a portion of Reddit today.
Yeah, I was just reading up on it as well right there. I mean, we knew it was going to be a down round. Reddit allocated 8% of their shares to eligible users, moderators, certain board members, friends and families, and employees and directors. So, you know, this is what it looks like right now for us. It's not going to look like anything. We will get the tap right now is $34. That will start getting adjusted as interest comes in, and then we will be able to see it here on, there it is right here. It's already here. Wow, they have 7. I have never seen this before. Have you ever seen this before? A single digit paired value in our imbalance locator.
So 7 shares have been.
So right now there is 500,000 shares to buy, and 7 of those shares have been put in right now to sell.
Damn.
But that would make sense because there are no shares to sell, maybe. So we'll wait to see if that number does change and what goes on with that. So again, if there's going to be no sell volume in here, then potentially we go upside. But you already brought up a good point. Look, yesterday, A-Lab, every IPO is going to trade differently. I think as an investment, I know we have that poll up. I don't think anything you buy IPO day one is really a great investment because we don't know a whole heck of a lot about the company. Now, this would have been, you look like an idiot saying that when this candle happens here yesterday, where this name comes out at $52. Again, a big AI tech name here, goes, Astera, goes all the way up to the upside here and completely just rips off any shorts that were involved and makes you look silly, any sell that you made in here. But the important thing to learn about this is it actually opened up and went down $2. So generally speaking, I've taken the opening print long, 100 shares, 1,000 shares, 10 shares. That's the strategy. You buy the open and then you watch it just go to the upside as everybody panics to buy shares once they realize the price. But this one fell in. And it actually gave you, it's not going to seem like that long, but 2 minutes of glory down here between 50 and 51 where you had to step up and take the shot. So I wasn't looking at it. I know Neil was looking at it. I know he was red on it, but very small. He just didn't have the big move to the upside. We are always looking for fades to the back, but I just think you want to wait for some sort of a support level. And then this blue line is VWAP. So you don't need to anchor it to anything because it hasn't existed yet. So it will open up and it will start to build. And then what you can do is, and I'm just looking at yesterday and talking with Brian Shannon, is that you can play the bounce back into VWAP for some kind of support early. So I feel like for Reddit, I'm not going to put that market on open order in. I'm going to let it open up. We're going to see the action. And then Obi came up with a great line that none of us can remember what it is. But he turned over to Josh and he goes, dude, just play what you see, basically. And I think that that's the best advice for brand new names, Obi?
Yeah, for sure. Again, I'm trying my best not to prime myself based off of what A-Labs was. A-Labs was a totally different sector. Reddit IPO has been long awaited for many years. So I was just looking through this S1 here this morning. Some pretty strong underwriters. You got Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and Bank of America as some of the top ones. And you got a bunch of others as well. So definitely they got 22 million shares to offer Class A common stock. So definitely going to be on watch today. Let's see what happens. I do like the look of VWAP there. We saw A-Lab yesterday, and we were talking about a couple of, it was definitely very difficult in terms of its price action. I would call it, it was pretty ranked. The price action was very, very ranked, and it was very difficult. But there were certain times in the price action that things did stand out. I think there's some interesting action at the 55. There was interesting action at VWAP early on.
Yep.
Like even with the strong flushes that we got, like 3-point flushes, VWAP would sustain more often than not. And eventually that buyers kind of stepped up 55, 56, and now it's trading at 66. So I think that concept of if the bid is strong, you can observe it stepping up. If we see something like that, I think definitely calls for a look or to get involved. But yeah, I'll be waiting and seeing, just reacting to what I potentially see, and yeah, getting right off the open, not necessarily my plan, but gonna wait and see what it does with VWAP and maybe some initial structure building and what we do with that structure.
Yeah, I mean, that's great advice. I think you want to wait for something. If you're going to go on technicals, you might as well use the technicals. I mean, I just think that wait for dip buys, wait to see the reaction of the stock. One name that I do have here on the watch here, we don't have it. We have it because it's coming up with the banks long, but I wrote down 750 here with FOMC staying the course, and Anthony Noto comes out and talks about strength from the offering. I really liked Sofi long here at 750. It was just at 760 when we wrote the note, so it is falling in. I do have a bid here at 750 to get long. I just want to let people know that. So if it does come into 750, you will see the first position. You haven't been in one yet today, have you?
No.
No. So the first position today will show up there on the board. Make sure you go to tradertv.live, I guess, yeah, that's right. On our YouTube channel, we have another feed that's going to show Obi and Mai's positions throughout the whole day. So even when we go to the midday madness, you'll be able to see our positions as well. There it is. Yeah. So that's yesterday's board there. You have uranium. Once that gets loaded up and the market opens, then all those ETFs will update. So you'll be able to see like what's moving around. And then you notice there in the middle, we're going to have stories that start to flash. And we didn't even talk about crypto right there. I see BPI behind me. We just had a story there about Mara going to the upside. We had BTC breaking through 67,000 there right now and 67.5. Watch out for IBIT. Watch out for Ethereum Trust. And I actually said this yesterday. I think it was time to rotate out of some Bitcoin potentially and into some Ethereum because we had a nice 20%. Did you even realize that? There was like almost a 20% move down in Ethereum in 3 days. No,
I didn't.
So like that's like a big drop down in what's supposed to be like one of the sort of gold standard there for the cryptoverse. It's not a meme coin or anything like that. But what is Ethereum at? Well, okay, we'll go back over to the desk and I'll get all the price action on Ethereum when we get back.
All right, let's touch on Li Auto here. You and I were just commenting on how hilarious this daily chart is for Li Auto. We were sitting here talking about the earnings, and then the next couple of days, this thing was just on a mission going higher. Now we've given it all back and then some. They've revised their deliveries downside in a pretty big way. Now expecting Q1 76,078 down from 100 to 103.
Yeah, that's not a small amount, Brendo. We're talking about 25,000 vehicles here. That could be a whole delivery quarter for certain car makers. Yeah, but we're going to have to see how they do. Not a good look here. It's showing the continuing increase in competition in the EV space, especially the Chinese EV space. But if you're looking for more data to come out of China with respect to EV sales, Tesla does report their March deliveries on April 2nd, so I'll be looking out for that.
Yeah, pretty ugly if you zoom in here as well. We're trying to get back above 31 right now. Pretty active guys already here for LI.
Yeah, I haven't looked at Li Auto yet today, but I will talk a little bit about Tesla here. Yeah, so as it was actually, this dip down was actually much more than I thought that it even was. So we topped out there. We actually had it live on the show because I remember Fabian in my ear was like, there goes, we just broke through 4,000. And I was like, boom, we just broke through 4,000. That was on the 11th. So we were up here again on the 13th. And then this dip that just happened, we actually went down. I guess this is 3 a.m. Yesterday, I guess. We went down to 3,100. And now you're up to 36 again. So right there, 10% on 3 is 33. Another 10% is 36. Yeah. So you've just made 20% on Ethereum in, just, you go to bed and you wake up. But anyways, that's 2 days actually. So, all right, we were just talking about Lee. So we can look at Li Auto again. I mean, Sharif is well-versed about this, so we kind of listened to what he had to say there. But it's a nice move back in on Li Auto. And yeah, I just don't think... I don't like the EV space right now. I mean, I'm into Rivian, and we talked about why. Rivian's actually higher than where we bought it. We're in 11.25. I was actually looking at 11 long today if there was any sort of pushback because of some of these delivery numbers. But again, a Chinese name. And if you don't really believe in the economy, I don't think you should then, again, go ahead and believe in people going out and buying more expensive electric vehicles. And plus, they do have issues with tariffs and coming across the border and things like that. In an election year, I just don't see too many kind words being said about China or about their economy right now. So Li Auto continues to get hit. Obviously, there would be some support down here near 26, 27. And we say that. If you'd like some names that are very risky, wait till you get into some support and take advantage of those dip buys. But for me, I just think you stay the course. If you like the EV space, we nailed Tesla yesterday. It was P&L number one, and we bought dips. So I felt the same way today about Tesla. I actually put it on the sticky note for 174. So this is a trade that I'm going to look for. And I said that yesterday, this was the breakout spot. So remember, we had this dip buy there. We were long right into there. So we bought this dip yesterday at 172. You guys saw that. And we actually got out on Fed. We got out of our last 20% rate here. Then when we broke this level, we went long again. So dip buys, 174 is right here, right where we broke out. So I think I like that. I mean, really, we broke out, I guess, here at 175. That came back and supported. But I kind of like this little level there where we got some action going. So back into 174, 174.50. Maybe that's the gift that keeps on giving Tesla, but it needs to be a dip buy right now. It's not up as much as the market.
It's definitely interesting because LI is like a luxury EV maker, right? And I overheard Sharif this morning talking about how I think it was Gucci or like luxury brand spending is down. And it's interesting to see that being reflected in the EV car space as well, where people are just not spending money on luxury goods and they're taking a hit for lower demand. Yeah, you're selling a $200,000 EV vehicle in a market where there's competitors at a much better price point. Yeah, people are. It does seem like people are holding back on that luxury spending, and it's being reflected on this. But the stock does what the stock will do, and we have broken back below these some of these the earnings price action that we had just a couple of weeks ago in the last week of February, and it'll be interesting to see if we can hold some of these supports on this strong flush off of this move there. But yeah, gonna be on watch for sure. Let's see what lithium does today, or Li Auto, $30 maybe potentially, with that quad doom happening quite heavily in the pre-market today.
All right, let's talk about banks here. Coming off what happened yesterday, the theory in banks being along today, essentially, if we get cuts coming up in June, we start to get more activity on the loan side of things, more business for banks, potentially a positive. JP Morgan back to essentially where we ended the session yesterday. But all of these looked like this when all was said and done after Mr. Powell yesterday.
Yeah, keeping an eye on XLF. I'm invested in the XLF, the ETF there for financials. So we'll keep an eye on this. But yeah, it's been an interesting look here for financials. CEO Anthony Noto for Sofi coming out yesterday and also looking to raise money, about $750 million there. He says from a position of strength, they're looking to expand the company. They've also been dealing with some of the student loan issues, which the Biden administration keeps looking to forgive a bit more loanees. So we'll have to see how that does.
Again, I am trying to confirm still, but I've only seen it one time, and that is that we're expecting Jerome Powell tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. as well. Trying to find that somewhere else, but haven't been able to yet, guys.
I missed that last part. What was that, Brendo, you're looking for?
Jerome Powell.
Jerome Powell. Okay. All right, good. So I didn't know if he was talking about SoFi there again, because I was like, oh no, it's something coming at 9 o'clock. But we'll confirm that if and when Powell comes through. So, all right, here goes the market. We just got the imbalances, I guess, for the NASDAQ. I'm assuming SoFi came out of buy. Yep, there it is right there. Uh-oh. Look at this. Buy. IBIT, buy. SoFi, buy. AMD, buy. Intel, buy. What? Intel's not a sell. Intel, buy. Right there. What sells do we have? Amazon. Oh no, Obi. Oh no. We have CrowdStrike sell. So we actually have, there's Chewy. So I was told not to mention Chewy because I jinxed it yesterday, which I don't believe in jinx. All right, so we'll go. Actually, you know what? It looks pretty mixed. Amazon's changed my mind. The minute I saw that come up there, I was like, okay. But Palantir is still a nice little buy there. Let's go over to SoFi quickly. I put this down on my sticky note today. It's up 3.5%. Look, 750 is where the 200 period moving average is. I'm fine with buying that level. We've bounced off there on these dark pool wicks earlier today. Not that really matters. I don't necessarily look at those, but you got to buy somewhere. So we'll buy a couple hundred shares probably at 750. Hopefully it goes into the money. And then I kind of like down here 735. You know, this name is flushed on good news before. This is one of those examples of where earnings come out. It's not earnings, but you know, good news comes out. You get that bump of 3 or 4%, and then people are just like, nah, we'll take this opportunity to sell it, right? So we'll have to watch out with SoFi here. Now that I can see, and I'm buying more at 735. That's not my out spot there. Short float of 17%. So at some point, you'd have to believe management, I would think. Anthony Noto, we've seen him buy shares of the name when it's been at these depressed levels. I own some SoFi shares, so we don't have to disclose that, but I am long SoFi, but I have also been not happy with it, so you heard some of that. I don't think you dump this until $7. So if this is an Intel nightmare like yesterday was, which wasn't a nightmare, but where we really wanted the long and the long didn't come in all day.
Oh, that was interesting.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. I hope we're not wrong on this. We'll buy some 750s. We'll buy more at 730 where yesterday's close was, and then we'll just close our eyes and trust that management knows what they're doing, and that offering was from a position of strength to gain more capital. So let's wait to see what happens with SoFi.
Yeah,
I'm going to be long.
Yeah, I'm looking at
hey, I like that.
PayPal as well.
Fonz.
Interesting chart here. I have it on the weekly, kind of pushing this back towards some of these lows from before. But a little bit of a curl, it would seem. So we'll take a look at the day chart on here, and yeah. So we've kind of been holding this 50 mark at the lows, kind of step up into the 60s, but pretty much sideways overall. But I'm curious to know that if we can get past the 70, I don't know if that's going to come in today, but will this set us into a little bit of a momentum towards the other side? Just seeing as we had earnings in February, we've reverted about half the move. It took about 40 days to do that. I'm curious to know whether or not we can get back to the highs, but we'll see. Over to Brendo.
All right, just quickly, guys, to confirm, they finally updated the Federal Reserve website here. So this is tomorrow, again, 22nd at 9 o'clock. We are expecting Fed Chair Powell, comments from Fed Chair Powell. There's this event in the pre-market that'll run right through to 9 a.m. So Powell again tomorrow. What's coming up on the midday?
We got divergence pullback confirmation. We're talking about pullbacks all week today. Divergence pullback confirmation. Make sure to check that out with Adair and I on How to Trade at 11.
Thanks, Brendo.
One of my top ideas right here, AMD.
Yeah, this is my #1 idea on the sticky note is AMD. We're like, oh, let's take the 185 break. Let's just take
Nice.
that. Let me read my notes. Okay, right. I mean, it happens in the pre-market. So that's fine. We can get dip buys back into it. We will try a dip buy back into 185. So let's get ready for that. I just put a bid there. Generally speaking, I would rather, this kind of sounds strange, I'd rather take the break than the dip buy, because when it's breaking, you're breaking with strength. When you're dip buying, you're buying into weakness. But we know we like the name. We've sort of looked at this. And if it comes back down to 185, touches that, and then rips to 195, I'm going to join Raheem immediately. So get ready, Mr. Alani. If you're around, I'm coming to see you.
Get those flights ready.
But anyways, or I could be going to see him for other reasons and potentially shut down. Okay, no, we won't be shut down today, that's for sure. And we're going to get ready to ring the bell. That's right. With 10 seconds left, we'll have a Darrow over there, and we'll kick off what should be a very, very exciting day as we watch AMD, we watch Micron, and we watch the bunch of this. 3 seconds, 2 and 1. Let's get going. All right. Take a sip of coffee. Always refreshing. As there goes AMD through 187. So thanks for that. All right. Oh, it's only 187.50, Obi. It's a small little move to the upside right now. Let's just see. No, there's a lot of money dropping down in the personal accounts, everything like that. But for right now, we don't have Jack on for anything. So we'll wait to see what happens right now. As NVIDIA dipping back in, I'd rather let this name settle down. You can see it as a dollar spread as we speak. Here it comes back in, 186 coming back in for AMD, but it's really on fire. It went crazy all the way to the upside right now. Let's just check out if anything's happening with Tesla. Tesla, nice little dip down into 176. We just got long something here. What was that? All right, just trying to check my blotter here. Oh, we're long Sofi. Here we go. The only name that's falling down pretty dramatically, we just got long. We got long at 50, and it dropped right through us into the 30s. So there's 35. We get missed down there. We're going to have to put some lower bids here on Sofi. One position to start with. It's Sofi, and it's a long at that level of 50 that we wanted. So we don't have the bottom there, but we are waiting for some more at 35. Let's go long Sofi to start the day.
Yeah, I'm just I'm watching some of the top constituents here, as well as Micron. Micron pulling back into that 111. Let's see where we can go. 111 is breaking down. Softies flushing as well. Apple as well. So I had Apple on watch, like we said. Let's see if it kind of continues that sell-off that we saw in the after hours there. But yeah, I'm going to stay a little patient here. Let's see what Micron does. Micron into 110 potentially, but we shall see. Alphabet kind of recovered its gains as well. Tried to push that 150, couldn't really make it as of right now. But Amazon, oh boy, Amazon is going right now. AMD flushing all the way back down towards that 184 half. So maybe that dip potentially coming in. But I'm gonna stay a little patient. Let that opening structure kind of build before I take my initial fills there. This action quite aggressive to the downside on some of these names. Upside, what's going there? Maybe some NVIDIA.
We just had, go ahead, no, refresh your blotter, because we just had, we had orders go pending for us there. And unfortunately, I don't know if you can see it. So we just got AMD. I didn't even know we had AMD right there as it popped down into 185. So we got locked up there a little bit. So here comes, it doesn't matter. It doesn't change my plan. We're going long AMD anyways. But the thing about it is, let's stop going long AMD. See, yeah, there's still a problem, because I think we just bought more there at 184. So, all right, this is going to be a good opportunity for me to tell you guys that the best thing to do when you're trading is, and you have system problems, is to potentially just sit on your hands for a little bit here.
Are orders not working right now?
They're not. They are working. No, they are not working again. So don't throw orders out. So, all right.
Look, ma, no hands.
Look, ma, no hands. Yeah, so you might be able to hear Brankles behind us. So I'm just going to go over some trades now, and we will not be able to execute until I hear from the boss in the back. So Brankles and Brendan and Wayne and everybody will let us know. But
perfect. We can let some structure build.
Right, so let's go over and have some look, right? So, all right, so right now we have Micron. So here's Micron. Remember we talked about this? Watch out for a stock that is falling in. Right? We did not want to sit there at 112. We had a 114. I'm actually just going to cancel all my orders now because I have no idea what's going on. So we're going to cancel everything and wait. But here's the fall back in for Micron. We had 114. We brought it back into 110. These are some of the dip buy opportunities I think we could have now on Micron. Look at the market coming back in. We had a monster move up early, up to that 18.7. And if you're going to look at the NASDAQ right now, that 18.7, I mean, we just touched the all-time high right there and then fell back. So this is kind of healthy behavior. I'm looking to buy some of these dips. Right? Micron, potentially leave it alone now because we've been wrong. We talked about this name, buying it into VWAP, buying it into some support. So wait to see if and when support builds. Right now, we've seen it in here around 106, 108. We'll have to wait for Micron. That would be a play there. NVIDIA touched 926, 927, dipping back in right now before falling. Wow. So here we go on that side of things as well. So yeah, it's going to show me long Sofi right now and long AMD. And we're just going to wait to get our executions back up. But is there anything that you're seeing that's okay?
Yeah, I'm watching NVIDIA because our friend CompSRX in the chat, early going into the open, he was like, yeah, he initiated a short on NVIDIA. Great trade, dude. I'm curious. Do you get more in on the lick grab of these pre-market highs? Like, did you get more in, or did you just have your pre-market entries? Because oh boy, is that working out real well. Congratulations on that short. They're right back into that 900. Look at that consolidation, 914. Nice trade there with the quad dunk on the markets. So we were talking about this yesterday. So the reversion man came through yesterday, right?
Yep. Yep. We like the reversion man.
And we got a straight move up. And now, today, it seems like we're getting a little bit of a reversion on that move. So let's see what we have in store here. But our order is sold down. But before we do anything else, we're going to pass it over to Dara.
Lyft actually getting a nice bump to the upside here. LYFT, not seeing any news on this move, but decent amount of discussion on X or Twitter. Lots of people talking about this name. It also does have a short float of about 13.5%. So keep an eye out for LYFT, guys.
All right, Lyft. So that's good news right there. We'll find out to see where that one's going. Whenever I hear about Lyft, I always go over to Uber and think about where we're going with Uber. So Uber right now up 1.2%, starting to go a little high there. I like that $80 break. I mean, we've talked about that a couple times on Uber. So that could be something that we definitely look at. This was a missed opportunity to buy that dip. There was good companies that we talked about that were available for sale, and Uber came right into those levels. I think you buy that dip over and over and over again if you are able to. It is noisy in the background, guys. I do apologize. We are having pretty major execution delays right now, so we'll trade, but we'll just have to trade pretty cautiously right now as, you know, I keep refreshing, see if we're filled on some of these orders or see if we are not. But right now, the NASDAQ is coming back in, so let's just look. It is showing me long. I am long on some of these trades here. I was able to get something out when we came back up here at 183 and change for that 183.70, but we're dipping down into some levels that we liked. We talked about now AMD getting long at 185. It already broke that level in the pre-market, so right now, look what we're doing to AMD. Coming back into some of the levels from yesterday, I think it's important that we look at this. We got to go over to Tesla as well. There's that 180.50. I don't think we need to go negative today. If Micron ever finds footing, I think we got to step in and buy some of these chip names.
Yeah, definitely Micron pushing back up off that dip. Lows being in those 109s, reclaiming that 110 right now, 111s. But yeah, it was that decent action there. Let's see if this bid kind of sustains, if we get a little bit of continuation, or we kind of push back to the downside there. I am kind of patiently waiting for some of these orders to kind of the order flow to clean up.
Yeah,
literally. But yeah, let's wait and see. What else did I have on watch today? AMD, of course. So let's go see what AMD is doing. So yeah, we kind of you know what. It's funny. We both looked at this off the open. We were like, all right, well, that's gone. I did have the idea to get long on a bit of continuation off of yesterday's action there. Quite aggressive V shape, if I do say so, right there. And let's see if we kind of sustain some of these highs, 180s, seems like that end of day consolidation high. Let's take a quick look at Meta. Meta kind of did something similar yesterday, but before we continue on that, we're going to pass it over to Dara real quick.
Keep an eye on LUNR, Intuitive Machines. This company, as you can see here, we did have that big run up. This is the company with the Moonlander at the end of February, early March. So this one has run before, and it also does have a catalyst in the form of earnings. It did beat Q4 sales by about $8 million. So nice look here for LUNR, 18 million share float, guys.
Okay, thank you, Adara. So I've gotten a couple executions right now. If you are with Real Trading, trust your floor manager or whoever talks to you guys about execution. But I just told Obi that I've gotten a couple fills right now. So we bought that dip there in AMD, and then we just got some out at basically the 200 and at some of these highs. So we're flat on AMD so far. The other trade that we have is Sofi. We bought some of those levels, right? Remember when we had those execution problems and we did not get this fill down there? It's because we were at 35. We didn't get it anyways. But then we bought some 40s on the way back up. That executed. Now we're long with an average price right here at 48. So we're pretty happy with the way that is right now. Let's just check back in on NVIDIA quickly. I hear you guys talking about Intel. Let's go over to Intel quickly. Intel, oh, come on, Intel. You got to be kidding me.
Oh, it's today.
They
were just holding it down for today.
Yeah, like what?
You know.
So yesterday we bought the dips in Intel on good news, Obi, and then today it's not even on the radar. Look left. Look what's happening right. Yeah. I mean, it's the same every day.
You gotta wait for that seller to lift, man.
Good job on Intel. And again, I just think that this is a Dow name. It's a well-loved name. I mean, it's well-owned, I should say. Maybe not well-loved. Well-owned name here on Intel. And you came into some support. So no matter how much we dog certain names around here, just because they're not performing against its peers, and again, it's hard to compare Intel to anything because of the foundry business and what they're trying to build. But anyways, Intel's still trying to work today. Nice move for anybody that grabbed that. I did want to go back to Tesla because I still want to address my list. So that sucks. We had 174 written down as a long. It looks like the long was 175, $2 right there. If you grab that, we did not. The other name was Reddit, not open yet. And then Micron. If Micron, I don't even have to look at Micron because I can really watch AMD. There's that level for Micron. When we did not have execution, we talked about possibly buying Micron, honestly, into this level. You would have had to get very lucky to get 109, but I think 110 might be something there for Micron. Let's wait to see if there's a bit more time to develop a bottom as we stay long AMD.
Nice. Yeah. So what I was saying about Meta a little earlier was take a look at this V shape that we had on Tuesday. Quite aggressive, right? Strong sell-off off the open, and I was just observing this yesterday as well. Reclaims and then consolidates sideways for over an hour. What is this? Around 1 o'clock, all the way into the close. The next day coming in, that action is held the next day, and then we kind of bid right back up, and then obviously we had FOMC. The 500 hold was nice, but yeah, a little bit of a hold of previous days' action and continuation on Meta there. So I'm curious to know whether or not some of the names here are potentially going to follow in step. I have no idea, but yeah, take a look at AMD. That's what I'm kind of going for.
Are you long AMD yet?
No, not yet. I do want to see where it potentially catches a bid if I do want to get long, but as of right now, things are selling off on AMD. Maybe we did catch a bid off of this 180-ish area right now, but I'm just, like I said before, I'm going to be patient, a little bit more patient and wait to see. Micron still a little bit underneath the VWAP there. Watching Apple as well, 177s. Hasn't really gone too far. The opening price is 177.05 on Apple, and Apple is pretty much just trading well within that range right here, 177.08 on the bid and the ask right now. So it's chopping around the opening price. Let's see what that has in store for us. Nothing else too crazy. Amazon pulling back off of that 180, so it seems like we are kind of taking a little bit of a breather. 18.7 on the NQ. Oh boy, it just feels like yesterday we were at 18.1 and 53. We're holding 53, and I think it was earlier this month. I was just like, for the swing idea for ES, I was like, okay, look for a hold. We're holding that 5K mark distinctly now. We tried a couple of times. Now we're holding that 5.1. Let's see if we can get past and hold that 5,250. And seems like we are right now with that hold above 5,300 on the ES. AMD still flushing, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So still flushing, nothing really just yet. So I will stay patient. It seems like the shorts are definitely on there. Oh boy, Comp SRX, you still holding that NVIDIA. NVIDIA pushing fresh lows on the day. Coming into yesterday's closing price in and around just above that 900 mark there on NVIDIA. So congrats to whoever got short on the NVIDIA there. I still have nothing too much on the board right now. 184 was an area that I'd liked on AMD, and it seems like we are trading below that right now. So I'm going to stay a little bit more patient. Maybe something will set up. What I realize is like you can break the day down into a few sections, the opening session, the midday session, and it's like the toolkit kind of used in those time periods is very different, distinctly different, I would say. Like morning, very, very hard,
You would
fast
say
pace.
that, wouldn't you, Obi?
Very hard pace Momo, and then if you carry that mindset into trades after 10:30, 11, not the best. That's what I found. It's like maybe it's a little bit slower. Morning momentum has died off. Maybe the reversions are a little bit better. Who knows? But definitely a different mindset, more of a level-to-level intraday swing type of mentality that I've been noticing has been a little bit better for what I've been trying to do. But it is, like I said, it's a work in progress. But before that, we're gonna go to Dara.
We do have some numbers coming out here. S&P Global Composite PMI Flash, Global Manufacturing PMI Flash, and Global Services PMI Flash. Just waiting on these right now. Should be here any moment. For S&P Global Composite PMI Flash, we're expecting a forecast of 51.5. Global Manufacturing PMI, we're expecting 51.7 for the consensus, 52 for the forecast. And Global Services PMI, consensus of 52 and forecast of 52.2. So just waiting for these numbers to come in here. So S&P Global Composite PMI higher than expected here, 52.2 versus forecast 51.5. Global Manufacturing 52.5 versus higher than both of the consensus and the forecast here. And Global Services PMI a little bit lower here than the forecast and the consensus. So 51.7 versus consensus of 52, forecast of 52.2. Not much of a reaction here from the SPY on those numbers, but we do get some more numbers as well at 10 a.m. Stay tuned, guys.
Like that. We like that.
Yeah.
Good little number there. It's starting to rally the market upside just a little bit. And those of you that were looking at NVIDIA, we just bounced off 910. I wasn't excited enough about this level. These guys are really excited back there. I wonder what they're excited about. Okay, 910 coming through here. We'll wait for 908 and whatnot coming through. So we'll have to see 908 into 97, 910 coming through one more time. So here we go. We're going to have to pay attention to that. We did get some out on Sofi. Sofi went all the way up to 754. That was a really good level right there. Yeah, good job, Elon, going back to Intel. I think that's something that you want to do. Don't ever just sleep on what's been happening in the broader market as well. I mean, if chips are going to be good, you can go back and try to find different names, right? Micron fell down today. We're into AMD. We're going to hold on to that one. But look at Astera, right? Astera Labs, not Astra Labs, Astera Labs, up another 15% today. This IPO just keeps on going, and people asking me in the chat, when is Reddit coming through? Well, I don't know when Reddit's going to come out. For right now, it's still tapping $34, and this is what the imbalance looks like. There we go. So now 1.5 million shares to buy with only 75,000 paired off. This could absolutely moon if it stays like that, because that demand is quite large on the bid side. So it looks like we're fading back out from that level again. We're going to have to dump AMD if it breaks 180, honestly, because this market has not been great. We made some nice highs. You're falling back into the 50 period. I thought we got a decent number there out of the manufacturing, but it's fallen back in, and we're going to be testing VWAP at some point. That is all-time highs right here up at 18.7, so wouldn't surprise me if we do pull back a little bit, and I don't feel great about this long right now. So if we can get back up to 183.50, that's where we're long at the 200 period, but it doesn't feel very good right now trying to catch some of these bottoms, Obi. So Micron right here at 110 again.
Yeah, I just took a quick fill there.
You like that level?
No, I did like the level there, but I'm not vibing with what it's really doing here. Maybe I just need some more time to observe the tape, maybe some more focus as well. But yeah, kind of bid on top of that 110, dips right back in and kind of flushes back down. But yeah, let's see how well this 110 holds. And again, I don't have to be the first to the party. I don't have to catch the bottom as per se, but we'll let some price action kind of accumulate, and let's see what we do with this 110 here. I'm going to Adara at the big desk.
Upstart, really strong right now, falling back a little bit, but still up about 3.5%. This was mentioned earlier in the show, some strength in general with a lot of these financial services related names after the Fed announcement yesterday, but also Upstart was announced as Liberty Savings Bank's personal lending selection. So bit of a news catalyst here as well. Also worth noting, UPST has a short float of about 32%. So certainly something to keep an eye on with regards to this name. And we would like to thank our sponsors here at VinFast for sponsoring this part of the show. Experience the evolution of electric vehicles with VinFast at the Vancouver International Auto Show 2024. See our diverse range of EVs embodying innovation and luxury. Don't miss out on test driving the VF8, a blend of performance and advanced technology. Visit us at booth number 11, Vancouver Convention Center from March 19th to 24th. VinFast, your future of smart mobility.
Ooh, man.
We were talking about those cars earlier today. I was like,
yeah, you were impressed with the interior you were mentioning.
Yeah, I think they had like a setup booth at like Yorkdale, I think, and I did check it out. I was there with my dad. He really liked it. He really liked the SUV, the spaciousness and everything.
Nice.
But interestingly, I've seen two in my neighborhood.
What?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
I've seen two. There's people with VinFast in my neighborhood. There's two of them there. I just saw them just last week, and I was like, that's interesting. That's the first one in the wild I've seen.
I remember my wife sent me a picture of them, one of them at the exhibition last summer here in Toronto. So that was kind of cool to see. Okay, we are epically failing on the longs right now, to the point where AMD might break 900. AMD might break 900. NVIDIA might break 900 to the downside right now. So this is a pretty dramatic move down. We're trying to find some levels, and we're already pretty dug in here, needless to say, into our friend and maybe potentially not friend, AMD today. Down here, we wrote down that we would really, really like to see a 181 level. Well, sometimes you get what you wish for, and I just wish I wasn't already long. So right now, it is starting to go to the upside here, bouncing off that 181 level. We marked down that we would love to get that level coming back in. It's the 50-period moving average. It's yesterday's close. We thought we had a rocket ship in, whoopsies. We thought we had a rocket ship in Micron today, and, you know, we did. It was up 70%. It's down 3% from the high. But at the same time, potentially you're finding a base here at 109 and change. But if we lose that, and obviously we're going to lose, if we lose NVIDIA, that's the bigger story. But we're holding on by a thread right now on many of these names. We did not look at Apple, Obi. You're still not in anything, right? So I think that's probably...
I just took a shot at Micron. I'm still waiting.
Okay, no problems with that, my guy. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Yeah. And then here's Apple. Again, it's not too bad that we got that story. I don't know if we would have been long anyways, or short anyways. But the idea is it's bounced off the 200 period right now and then just gone straight to the downside. So if you took some of that rhetoric of being negative, like we talked about with the DOJ, then you had a monster trade right there. It's too bad that I didn't really think so negatively about it, because that's a pretty easy play. Like if we're thinking red on a name, that's a great play. Take these bumps, get short there, bring it back to VWAP, take those same highs, does not breach that high of 177.50, bang to the downside for $1. So I do like that play. There's no doubt about that. All right, we bought AMD off 181, but stupid me, my average price is still 182.70. What are we supposed to do other than wait to see what happens? I'm going to get a little bit out here at 182. Again, start to pay the piper for our mistakes, and then we'll wait to see if we do hold that 181. But we bought some back at the bottom here. Apparently not the bottom as we go a little lower in the space. We did get some more out of Sofi, I think, there for flat. Yeah, so it just bumped up again. We put a stop to get out of this if it breaks 30. The long is not right today. It doesn't look like, Obi. So what did you get in and out of again there?
Micron.
Micron, MU. So did it take that?
Tried a quick long, but I was just like, yeah, no, it's not really doing what I'm looking for. And also, I gotta watch on the chips as well. NVIDIA's quite heavy as well, so that could play a weighting into that. I'm watching SMH as well. Again, trading some of these chips. I think it's a good idea to keep an eye on the semiconductor ETFs. We got SOXL, SOXS as well, but like I like to look at SMH and SOXL. SMCI I got on watch. ARM, oh my. We were down at 120s 2 days.
Right,
no, we were at 120s 2 days ago. We're back at 130s.
Oh, okay.
So it's like that what was it? Earnings day one consolidation high has been held in and around that 120 level, and we bid up 10 points back into 15 points back into 134s, 135s over the course of 2 days on ARM. Let me pull up the chart here so you guys can see right here. So take a quick look. See at this one, we were holding this. Okay, so right there, look at that. Look at that. A little bit of a distinct low right here at that 122. You got a strong flush, comes in, gets bought back up, comes in, gets bought back up. We're back in the 134s, but where's that level from before? Let's go back to the 15-minute here and take a quick look right here. So you had earnings, first earnings for ARM. Pretty strong, did very well, and then kind of made these highs where these bidders kind of stepped in a couple days later in and around that 120, right? That strength comes in right off that 120. It seems like that level has been defending over and over again, just with what the chart has been showing as of right now, but quite a strong defense, as whenever we do kind of bounce, we get right back into the 130s here, sometimes even going a little further than that initially. But yeah, ARM definitely on watch. Let's see what ARM can do if we do break out off of some of these highs. We do have some space to get back to at the top, or let's see what we do below that 120. If we do get below it, I do want to stay a little bit nimble with the mindset here. A little bit of a bounce happening on Micron off that 109 area. But yeah, I'll stay a little bit more patient there. What time is it right now? It's 9:55. So the first half an hour candle will be printing in about 5 minutes. So I'm curious to know how that one kind of goes and how we start off the next candle as well. But that 109 to 110, this consolidation, you can see it's quite aggressive to the downside. In the consolidation, we're making lower lows, lower highs as well. But before I continue with that, we're going to pass it back to Dara.
Is moving around right now. PARA. Yesterday, we had this big move up when it was reported that Apollo was going to offer specifically for Paramount Studios in Hollywood $11 billion. Then this morning, Financial Times reports that Sherry Redstone prefers the Skydance deal to the Apollo deal, so we get a bit of a move down on that. This big red candle to the downside here on the 3-minute chart was when CNBC reported that they don't really see a Paramount selling its studios separately. So basically the idea that Paramount will not sell its studios separately, another move to the downside here. So just some updates with regards to that potential Apollo deal that was reported yesterday, guys.
So I'm starting to get obviously frustrated here with AMD. We're long at 182. It's at 181 right now. So I'm not too pleased, obviously, about the performance here today with this name. And the reason why I say that, obviously, is NVIDIA right now is bouncing. So NVIDIA is bouncing nicely, man. It just bounced $8 from 904 up to 912, almost 913 there. And we're not getting any love at all from my guy over here. So let's get going. I'm going to take another piece out I just tried to take some more out there at 181. I'm just trying to, if we can lose $1 on this one, obviously we do have some shares, so it's going to suck, and I understand that, and I apologize, because we said that the dream level was going to be 181. It fell into that, but instead of a dream, it was a nightmare. We did have execution problems earlier, so remember, we didn't even realize we were filled there at 185, which is still fine, and then we bought the pre-market bottom there at 184. We definitely did not expect this kind of a drop down. So we're still fine. We're still well in the pocket here, but here it goes. It looks like it's trying to break down, so it does seem like a good decision that we got something out there near the top. But if this breaks like 180.25 right now, I think we're going to get out of at least half of what we have left, because a 180 breakdown is a pretty disaster story there. So we'll wait to see. Hopefully we get another bump up and we'll be able to save a little bit of our net here on these bump ups. So I'm going to take another advantage right now. Oh man, we just missed it at 80. Okay, there we go. We get some outs at 80. We're going to sit up here. We still want to hold this for if it goes. We don't want to just get out of everything, but I am getting out of about 30% down here for that $1 and change hit. It's been a pretty nasty ride downside. We got some out up here, which was fine, but it's down here that's the problem. So right now we'll unfortunately sort of, I don't want to say lament this trade, but it's been a bad one. So I know you were into Micron, and we're only talking chip names today, so we can look at other places. Nothing's really hitting on my levels here. Like I know I've just been obsessed with this one name, but Tesla right down to 174. I canceled actually that offer down there. That bid, sorry, down there because of what the market was doing. But this is a good level here for Tesla for sure. It's just I can't keep buying all of these dips because eventually these are just going to go right into the gates of hell. All these names it looks like here today. Like this is a pretty bad day for Tesla considering the market's still up 1%. So, all right, we're going to get some more out. There goes AMD trying to get back up to the upside. We'll hold this in case we can win on this. But it's definitely been losing day here today for me as we hold on to NVIDIA and we wait for Sofi to do something. Need some more trades here to get back in the pocket because we're just looking at the chip names. And as I look down at my list, man, it's Micron, Sofi, AMD, Reddit, which isn't open yet, and Tesla. So we've kind of looked at all the names that I've been interested in. Disney, by the way, today. What do you have up? Were you going to talk Disney a little bit? Disney made a move today up to 117. So that's nice. Our target for this is something way lower or way higher, 120, and then we get some out on Disney as we like that play.
Yeah, getting a little bit more of a consolidation here on Micron. We've been holding this 109 to 110s, but again, I'm going to give it some more time there. I like that 180 potentially to observe the tape at for AMD. So let me just pull that up here. Right there. So yeah, we're pretty much right on top of AMD here, but yeah, we'll talk about Para again once we get back from Madeira.
We do have some economic numbers coming through here. We're just waiting for existing home sales month over month, and CB leading index. We just got our existing home sales numbers here coming in at 4.38 million, so slightly higher than the consensus here of 3.94 million. Existing home sales month over month, 9% to the upside, so higher than the previous 3.1% to the upside. CB leading index month over month coming in 0.1%, so higher than the consensus and forecast of negative 0.2 and negative 0.3% respectively. See how the market's reacting to this. Still up about 0.5% on the day is the SPY. See, more or less in a range here. We did have a big move up yesterday to close at a new all-time high, as you can see here on the daily chart after Fed Chair Jerome Powell spoke on the rate decision. So good luck for the markets yesterday and good luck right now, just kind of hanging out slightly positive on the day. Micron holding up pretty well here, still up over 14% after posting a pretty strong earnings beat, including an unexpected profit and having strong projections for the upcoming quarter. So nice look for MU. On the opposite side, we have Li Auto LI down over 7% after lowering or revising downwardly its Q1 delivery expectations due to some lower than expected order intake. So here we go. Lots going on in this market right now to the upside and the downside as the SPY continues to trade in a range, guys.
Again. Okay, so I don't think execution is working again here for us, but we just had a huge move up there for blah, 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 AMD there, and I had offers. I thought we had gotten some fills up there on the upside. We did get some out here at 181 and change, but it's bouncing off 180 right now, so let's watch out. We're still in this. I feel like there's, did you just feel like there's execution problems there?
Yeah, no, I did.
Okay, good. So we are having,
I couldn't cancel it.
Yeah, we are having a few issues from what I can see here on the show. So we'll wait and see if it can all get settled out right now, but there's a nice little move down as AMD touches that 180 level. Does not break it though, and now you're right back up to the upside. So I'm going to throw, see, like I just tried to offer out right now on AMD and didn't get the fill. So I am a little bit puzzled here by what's happening. So, all right, let's go back over to Adara. We have Tesla long at 174. We did wind up taking that. What's up, Adara?
Earlier I mentioned Lyft was to the upside. We did just get the news story for that. Reuters reporting this morning about 10 minutes ago that Lyft and Nielsen have inked an agreement to measure advertising on the company's app. So basically a data analytics firm, Nielsen collaborating with Lyft for measuring advertisements. So nice look up for Lyft. That's the reason this one's moving today, guys.
So yeah, we just got confirmation as well that we still are having issues. So here I am just trading away. But again, you know, be cautious. We are getting fills. It just seems like they're delayed. But if you are with all I can say is if you're with Real Trading and you're having some issues, contact your floor managers. They'll have access to immediately tech support and be able to tell you if we are back up and what the situation is right there. So this is a good time. Obviously, we talk about making sure you understand your system and the processes that happen if and when something does go down. And I think we're just getting slow execution. So I'll hold my opinion on that until we get that all figured out. So yeah, man, you're right, B. Davis, man. AMD is definitely weak sauce, man. It doesn't want to get going. We're long here at 181.16. I mean, we can make absolutely everything back. Right now, someone's phoning me. You're going to go right to voicemail, though? See ya. Unless that was Powell, but he has the bat line. You know, he doesn't phone my cell phone, you know what I mean? He phones Neuralink, comes right into my head, and then we discuss what's good over there. But all right, so right now we'll get this all figured out. But for now, this is what's happening in the market. NVIDIA also making moves now back to the upside. What a great bounce opportunity that was down there at 905. But again, all you had to do was maybe buy yesterday's closing price in and around 906, 907, and then you see what's been happening since then. All right, right now, look at this, man. The guaranteed money-making level of Tesla. We went long at 174. And finally, it's Sticky Note Nation time. We wrote down 174 on that name. So there it is. It's a nice upside move. Again, I'd like to take fills. We took one. I have another fill up here at 175. Let's see if that comes through right now for us on Tesla. A very good trade now as that's bouncing off that 174. We'll see. Again, execution problems. I may or may not have got filled up there, but we're going to wait to see if it does go.
It's a surprise.
Surprise, you did not get filled. But okay, so right now, we'll just take another fill up there on AMD, as apparently that just filled up as well. I'd like my other orders to get filled on the high side for advanced micro devices, because here it comes, slipping right back down into those bottoms again, man. So Mr. B. Davis and company, I feel like y'all's is right. AMD is weak sauce. I just got out more at 181 just to let you guys know, although the execution is not showing up as we are delayed.
Yeah, Apple making fresh lows right now. We kind of we're back below some of those levels from last night here. Let me just show you guys real quick. Right here. So yeah, we're just back below last night's level. We saw that Quadunk off of the news that they had, some trouble with the DOJ, and we're pretty much below some of those reference prices off of that news there on Apple, coming back into that 175. 175 was a little bit of a bounce place yesterday. Let's see what we do in and around there. Only about 70 pennies away from that on Apple. What else is pulling back? I'm looking at my board here. Sofi kind of sideways. Alphabet, actually, Google kind of pushing back in. Let's see what we do with that 150. We're just underneath that 150. Kind of we did that. What do we call it? That wick shimmy dance.
Yes.
With that 150 right here. Take a look at that nice little wick on the 5 minute right there. Through that 150, coming right back in. So this looks kind of interesting here. Let's see what Google does with that pace right there. But Apple to the downside there. So yeah, the futures as well. 18.7, kind of pulling back off of 18.7 right now on the futures. 18.6 was this consolidation in the pre-market session right there as well. So let's see what we do in and around those areas. Let me know what you guys are trading today. Are we waiting for that IPO? I'm definitely going to be waiting for that IPO, saving some risk for that to come out. If that's going to be a trade, we shall see. That is yet to be determined. But again, very anticipated IPO. I think we don't really have a time for it, but they've been coming out around like noonish over the past the past few ones that we've had.
Yeah, we can
like
see
in and around.
When was
noon.
yesterday's? Because
yesterday's was around 1. Was
we
it
asked
1?
about this. I'm
Yeah,
gonna find out immediately right
1.
now. So right now it was remember I was like, what was it? 12:30, 12:45 yesterday.
Yeah.
It was 12:39. So right there, huge volume spike yesterday for A-Lab. So if you are eagerly, like we are, waiting for Reddit to open up, then we'll get that. But again, if we continue to have these execution problems, Reddit will be a no-go for me, but I don't think that will happen. All right, Sofi does make a move back to the upside. I don't have any more bids anywhere or too many executions on names that we don't have. But Yeah, you know what? Someone, I just see you say there, Mark A, scrap the Sofi and go to Apple. Look, I can trade. I've had like 5 or 6 positions at once. Oh, no. Shout out, man. You guys nailed that. We talked about Apple. Remember, we talked about this earlier. I just wish we had to buy a short because to me, this is the money-making day for Apple on that short side. We had that DOJ investigation. Unfortunately, I looked at this with rose-colored glasses, meaning I didn't think Apple was going down this much today on 2%. I feel like that DOJ investigation on the Bloomberg report, sometimes you don't get all the details there, but it looks like potentially when there's smoke, there's fire. And a lot of traders want to empty their clip, I would assume, on Apple because of the run it had. And if you're going to get investigated about App Store and iTunes and all that kind of stuff, that's their bread and butter. Their service industry is huge. It's been a huge profitable spot for them. We invest in Apple because they have that recurring revenue. If all of a sudden something has to change, then potentially bad news there for Apple, especially with this little pullback in the market. But it's a nice base right now. Okay, Obi.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. Hopefully we can get a nice move up here now. We really we didn't sit on our hands because we were aggressively getting out as we thought AMD was dead. And we were lucky that it didn't break 180 there because I was saying to Obi, like, I hope execution. You remember when it was down here, I was like, if execution's up, we're going to get executed through 180 here. And I don't even know if we're going to get the fill or not. So that was the scary part. But thankfully, it bounced off that, and we're out of half at least now.
So you had an order sitting there?
Yeah, because if it breaks 180, I wanted to get out.
Oh, to get out.
Yeah.
Not to get in.
My risk was, imagine it breaks 180, and I don't have the execution report. Then I don't know if I'm out.
Right.
So now that it's at 179,
yeah.
Like, you know,
yeah,
what am I doing? And then I'm like, oh my God, now this loss is 5 times more, or not 5 times more, but $1 more than I had hoped for. So, all right, fingers crossed that we can get back up to the upside. Obi?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, okay, so I got into this short here kind of on Micron. We did push into 111s. We're holding this 110 quite nicely there. Just waiting to see what some of these other names are up to as well. Yeah, we're catching a little bit of a bounce there. Intel with a bit of a pullback. ARM catching a bounce off of pre-market lows, 132 it would seem here on the ARM. So yeah, AMD, I was waiting for that 180. Let's see what we do with that 180. That bounce so far, 180.12 is the low right now. So yeah, did we bounce off of that 180 on that initial test there? Still waiting to see what Micron kind of does there. NQ still well within this, what was this? This was opening price in and around where we're at right now. So we're just chilling around that opening price. We did attempt to push into that 18.7. Couldn't quite make it, passed distinctly, and then we did pull back right back into these some of these opening prices. So let's see. I have no idea what is going to happen, but we shall wait and see. Like I said, I think I've already thought about allocating a decent amount of my daily risk to Reddit for when it does come out. So I'm going to be staying patient, and you guys will hopefully get to see if the trade is there, if something does set up within my playbook. I may or may not take some fills on the Reddit itself. So yeah, a lot of anticipation for that IPO for the past couple of years. They've pushed it back a few times as well. Interesting structure as well. Like a lot of their users got some shares. I was reading again their S1. I think is like 6 million shares from stockholders from before, and then the rest of them from of course Reddit themselves. They said IPO price around $34, 22 million shares to sell in total. So let's see what it does off the open. I'm gonna be patiently waiting. Hopefully it comes out while we're on the main show. But nice, like I said, a lot of them have been coming out in and around that lunchtime. So you're gonna be with the midday show with How to Trade with Sharif and Nadera around that time, if it happens to come around that time. But again, we'll see. AMD bouncing quite nicely off that 180, Sean. Oh boy, was that definitely a level of interest. We talk about that V shape. What am I doing? I gotta be a little bit more how you call it? bionic with my trading. I got to be like, okay, if the order is there, like I got to set that order there at that 180. If I like that 180, I was looking for it. But that's why I asked you right away. I was like, oh, did you have an order there to get involved at that 180 from before?
Yeah, so, sorry, but I was just hearing, I just want to tell you, we still are having execution problems.
Okay.
So coming from the bridge to slow down on maybe lower some shares and stuff like that. So I am also taking that advice. So, and I just want to tell that to Obi before we get carried away. Okay. See, like, I just got out of a whole bunch of AMD there, and it all happened at once because all these executions just filled in right there. So we're now waiting to get more out. We just touched 182. We have a 181.70 that's supposed to fill soon as well. So we just got another piece out. I'm only telling you guys this because I'm getting out of this trade on AMD, and the executions are delayed. So want to give a warning to Obi there. We did that. Look at Tesla. I also have an offer on Tesla. I got some out at 50 right there. Execution delayed. That's going to be a 50-cent winner. Sorry, 25-cent winner. We do have offers up here at 175 as well, hoping that fills. There's our AMD fill. So I would say, honestly, we're probably about 2 minutes delayed. So we just ripped through right there. There's my fill at, no, actually, we're more than that. That's my fill at 60. My fill at 70 didn't even fill yet, I don't think so. All right, so we're probably about 2 or 3 minutes delayed, but there's the fill there, again, just coming in on AMD. So we are lightening up our position here on that name. It's been a pretty good day for us here, though, for sure, as we look at some of these names, again, coming through. Tesla was a good dip buy. I'm not going to look at that again. What about Rivian on some dip buy opportunities? I liked 11 bucks on Rivian. Didn't get there. We'll wait to see if it can hold that. 11 coming in. We see some nice bottoms from yesterday, I guess, in there midday, around $11. We'll see if we can test that level one more time there on Rivian. Why does AMC keep flashing? Is that just barcoding? Is that why it's flashing at me? Yeah, okay. So AMC not doing anything. Every time it touches VWAP, it pops up. I may have to take AMC off my radar now because, like, if it just keeps on hitting VWAP back and forth when VWAP is right there and it's not moving, kind of a moot point there for me. Alibaba got some good stories about selling more today, I believe, in Europe than they thought. They're at some conference. Maybe if you can find something about that. Oh, here it is right here. It's on Benzinga. I was going to ask Adara, but I see it right here. Oh, Shiba Inu, what's that doing? We can have a look at that. Here it is. Alibaba witnesses notable increase of 14% in US-based, US-based buyers between March 1st and March 18th during this year's March Expo. So I'm not going to read all of this, but it looks like Alibaba, it's green. It's a notable increase of 14% in US buyers. So a story there, you can go find it. We have a link down below for Benzinga Pro to get that discount from them. So, all right, here we go, man. We're now $1 in the money. Let's see if AMD can continue to rip. These are real trades. We have all these trades on. It's just the execution's delayed. So I haven't bought more, but right now, there we go. Let's spin the money because it's Tesla time, baby. We just got out at 175. Again, execution delayed. We will take a 175 fire print on that one. And again, we're really happy with everything today. I mean, we're not happy with, unfortunately, the software a little bit, but we're working through it. And we want to thank Real Trading for the support there. But right now, we had Tesla written down as 174 long. We talked about not taking it with execution problems, but we took it anyways because it was just delayed. And we knew that we had to stop down here at 173.75. That didn't print against us. So here we go again, man. We're back on this Tesla trade, and we just got a piece out at 174. So all is good over there. That is there it is. There's the out. Okay, so this just filled. So Obi, I'd say we're about a minute and a half behind. Okay, what's up, Adara?
The mention of Tesla there a couple minutes ago, saw something coming out with regards to Morgan Stanley releasing a note saying that they are still long-term thinking that Tesla has potential. They do recognize the near-term issues with the EV industry, but they said that it's hard to think of a company that can really compete with Tesla and BYD right now. So they said that they're long-term not concerned about TSLA, giving this one a little bit of a boost here, guys.
Oh. Yeah, me and Obi just talking there a little bit about the system. So I just wanted to confirm to everybody that, like, if you put your orders out right now, from what I can see, you'll get the fill if it runs you over. So, and if it fills you, I guess it doesn't have to run you over. Like right now, we'll put an offer out on Sofi right now at 52 because we're back upside right now. We are long Sofi with a decent amount of shares, and I just put an offer at 52, and I just saw the gateway that I used disappear. So I know I'm filled here. Right? And so you'll see in a couple seconds, I'll get the fill at 52. We are also offering 54s where the 200 period is. And then I think let's be here to trade, right? If this market wants to bounce higher, we know we like Sofi long. So we're sitting in this trade. It's going to be hopefully a good one, but we need to wait for that to get going. Sofi's not doing that much. Coinbase is blasting Mr. Long Shorts. All right, AMD just got up to the upside. We will look at Coinbase in a minute. AMD just touched that near in and around 182. So let's put another offer here. Let's put something at like 181.60 or 181.70. Get that fill there. I'm using the NASDAQ gateway. I don't know if that matters to anybody, but we're going to use that to get some fills here. And we're going to put another one at 181.60 on AMD. Obi, I'm going to go run and get a coffee. Are you good right now?
Yeah, I'm good right now.
Okay, I'll be right back.
All right, so yeah, I'm still kind of holding this Micron as it kind of consolidates here. Let's see what it does. Market's not really going anywhere except for I do have eyes on A-Lab from yesterday pushing fresh highs again. So okay, well ARM and some of these other the semiconductor SMH is popping up as well. So let me pull that up real quick. SMH. Okay, so yeah, Micron kind of pulling back into VWAP. Where do I have VWAP here? I had at 1070s. All right, cool. So yeah, look at this. VanEck kind of catching a bit of a bounce off this 226.5, pushing back up. Let's see what we do here. NVIDIA as well, kind of consolidating. Okay, so let me pull up NVIDIA. NVIDIA consolidating below its VWAP, so right here. So interesting hold underneath VWAP on NVIDIA. Seems like strong selling off the open. Shout out to Comp SRX for that short call out there, and then flushes to 904s, kind of that consolidation low from the after hours. Also yesterday's highs, right? Wow, that's kind of distinct there. But VWAP selling off as of right now. If we reclaim VWAP, let's see what we do there. Micron holding as well. AMD, what are you guys trading? Baba long might be a look, says Christian Hanley. All right, so let's take a quick look at Baba. Baba is blasting to the upside. Oh boy, that's pretty wild there. Holding some of yesterday's levels, but look, take a look at that. That's a pretty nasty wick there. This is a 5-minute chart off the open yesterday. I don't know what's going on with this name, but it does seem like we are catching a little bit of a bid as we've made higher highs and higher lows from yesterday, pushing some fresh highs on the week here. So this was Monday right here. So yeah, we're pushing some fresh highs on the week on Baba. And yeah, okay, so Frank Jones saying SOX, SMH, TSM's trying to stop out. Okay, so yeah, we just looked at SMH right now, and it is pushing back towards its high. So what is NVIDIA up to right now? NVIDIA kind of pushing that 933, 934. Okay, so, all right, so before I continue with that, we're gonna go to Dara with its small caps.
IWM really strong in the day here, up more than 1% and trying to make new highs of days. So nice look here for the Russell 2000, and lots of small cap names to discuss today, including KAVL. KAVL is the ticker for this one. No news on this one that I'm seeing, but the news here might be the float. We have a float of about 825,000 shares. Lots of discussion of KAVL on social media as well. Next up, we have Lufax Holdings, LU. They reported earnings. Earnings were pretty weak here, a miss across the board. However, they did announce a special dividend of $1.21. So nice look here for LU, up about 40%. Last but not least here, Amidas, AMTX, this one up about 30% after they're a gas and natural resource related company receiving a $200 million investment for one of their programs near the border. So nice look here for AMTX, 11% short float in this name, guys.
Thank you, Adara. So I saw in the chat, I forget who it was, Eric talking about coin is blasting. Oh boy, is it blasting right here. Sean, take a look at coin there. Nice strong continuation. So we caught a bid all day yesterday holding VWAP. What is this? Initial test right here, 229, and then once again at 235, closing high a days, and then pushing back even further into those 260s in the after hours right there. We are continuing to move very strong on Coinbase. Let's see what Bitcoin is up to right now on the Coinbase exchange, of course. And yeah, Bitcoin kind of just holding some of this sideways over here at that 67, 68. We were talking just this morning as to when we're going to get that 75 test, if we're even going to see it. But yeah, that 75 kind of that level that a few people are definitely waiting for, watching for. Let's see if we can get back up there on the Bitcoin. But nothing too crazy right now. AMD still holding that 180 and pushing back up into VWAP 182. So yeah, the long off that 180 definitely was a decent look there, Sean. I think again, I talk about being patient, and then I don't have an order in for when that price kind of comes in. I did want to interact with that 184 and that 180. 184 didn't really do what I was looking for, but that 180 as of right now does seem like it is holding up. Let's see what we do with VWAP here in and around 182, just above on my screen. What does TradingView have for VWAP? Let me just check real quick, because I noticed that there's a few different, like depending on the platform, the VWAP can be slightly different, and I think that has to do with some of the data that they're taking, the open, high, low, close data that they're taking from different places.
Okay, yeah, I mean, there's different exchanges out there that might give you different prices as well. We've been doing really well, man. There's the Dollar Club on Tesla, so that just bounces off the 50-period moving average right there. We were, again, I can only tell you where I was sitting. I was sitting right at the 50-period at 40. It touched 38. So right now we're at 23. I just want to see. So I'm offering 175.23 now. Obi, I think executions are back. So let me see. Did we just get it? There it is. Executions are back. So we'll fire the hot dog cannon. So right there, this is how you know. I mean, I'm just being real with everybody. I told you I was offering 175.23, right? It came in. There's the tick right there, and there's the out. So boom, good trading. So I feel like we're back, and that's good. And then the fact that we're back means we can do this, because we do have a nice little win here on our friend Sofi. So Sofi right now trying to move around a little bit. We do like that trade right now for us on that name, as it just makes that move, and we get some outs at 54s. We do not have that high, but one person that we do have, and that's ready to rock and roll, is Adara. What's up?
Yeah, just keep an eye on Disney, DIS here. Earlier today, Benzinga reported that we did have several current and former directors of public companies sending a group letter to the Disney board to support Nelson Peltz and Trian. These include directors of Heinz and Procter & Gamble, so a lot of consumer brands. Now, about 20 minutes ago here, we have ISS, which is a proxy advisory firm, coming out and saying that Disney shareholders should actually elect Nelson Peltz and Trian to send a message to Disney. So a few sentiments here now in support of Nelson Peltz and Trian to keep an eye on if you're involved in DIS, guys.
Yeah.
Disney.
All right, Darren, no more stories about Disney unless it's going up, because like we've got Disney and we're waiting for that one to pop through. And we did miss our out this morning, and we didn't even have one on Disney actually until it got to 120. And we had sort of talked about that. I really liked the Disney story. Bob Iger came out and said that direct-to-consumer should be profitable within the next year at the end of 2024, which is what we're at now. So I guess later on at the end of this year right now. So I think Disney's still a buy, but again, pretty volatile with that board battle there, the proxy battle. So we'll wait to see what does happen. Good out on Tesla. I mean, we got out right there at 25s. It's now trying to break a little bit lower. Bad outs, I guess, on AMD because we're still in it. It bounced off the 50 period. We talked about getting some out there, which we did. And then I guess we were like, oh boy. See, Obi, I never say that until I get you beside me.
Yeah.
And now I like it. So, dropping back in here, we're still going to try to support 180. I don't mind buying the dip into AMD now. We've seen it support that level. But, hey, we're red on AMD today. We had a decent amount of shares there, and we did get a little bit hit as we kept going back into the downside. So, good trade there on SoFi, good trade on Tesla. We'll be 2 for 3 today. And yesterday we were 3 for 4 until the Fed came and we started trading like crazy. And then that was really good too, the Fed, because we added Tesla and some of those names. But here's NVIDIA trying to hold again above this $900 level. It did it. It did it really nicely too. But this was a nice volume spike. I would have liked to see a little more if I was on this name, but you do get a nice wick bottom there at 905. This leads me to believe that we may be able to challenge back into this level, which makes me pretty damn nervous about AMD coming back to flat right now. Whenever you get a rejection there at VWAP, and you actually mentioned this, Obi, when we were on with Adara, so many different levels, bouncing off VWAP, holding it, and then turning around off of it, and that's just what happened to NVIDIA again. So when you start to bounce off of these levels, I often think you're for sure going to retest the 50 period, which is why it's here, and then possibly look for the next level of support. You could use 910, but when NVIDIA cranks, you know, if the 50 period's at 912, 910 is just a stop order. You know, so then you're looking to see a little bit down from there and into 907, 908. So let's see if it holds it out. I'm going to be buying some more AMD, but not till a little bit lower. I have my bid at 180.20.
Yeah, talking about Disney earlier, I remembered, I was chuckling a little bit. Did you see that interaction between Elon and well, it wasn't necessarily a direct interaction, but he was being interviewed, and Elon basically had something to say to Bob Iger. I don't know if you saw that little exchange.
We did. Ooh, there it goes. So AMD just fell down, first of all. We got good execution right away. We'll talk about that in a minute. I'm just getting heard that we'll have to go to Adara. So we did get out of 75% of that AMD as it breaks through 180. Bad trade there for sure. What's up, A?
Just be aware, guys, if you are involved in AAPL, CNBC saying or reporting that the Justice Department is going to hold an antitrust announcement around 11 a.m. Possibly with regards to Apple here. So keep an eye on AAPL with that in mind, guys. CNBC reporting possible antitrust announcement at 11 a.m.
All right, so in like 30 minutes.
Name's very good.
So it's like, all right, so they just told us that something is going to happen with Apple in 30 minutes. Basically,
yeah, but it's the same story that we already know.
Right.
Yeah.
But that could be like that could be something. We're selling off quite aggressively on Apple here. I did just pull it up. If you look at that volume, kind of a little bit dwindling volume, but to the downside nonetheless. Very aggressive kind of continuation through that low that we made yesterday. We did revert about more than about half the move there, but can't really catch a bid past 177 halves and then flushes right back down. Where's the week low? I'm asking myself right here. So the week low, I guess that printed in the market itself is around 174s, but if you're looking at after hours and pre-market action, it seemed like there's a week low Monday in and around 172.4s, and we're at 175. So let's see what we do with that 175 right now on Apple with 30 more minutes left for that update from the DOJ there. On Apple. So let's see if we get any moves. Maybe, you know, it's always interesting to know if something's going to move and we've been given a time. So maybe a time catalyst. But before I continue with that, we're going to go over to Adara with crypto.
Before we get to crypto, we did just get the EIA natural gas stocks change numbers coming in at 7 BCF versus consensus of 4 BCF, so slightly higher than expected here. Also, definitely something to keep in mind here with regards to crypto. This coming out yesterday afternoon, reported by Fortune here, that the SEC has been probing some crypto companies in their Ethereum investigation. Basically, Gary Gensler and the SEC trying to classify Ethereum as a security rather than a cryptocurrency. So interesting look there with regards to those potential Ethereum ETF hopes possibly being dashed or a bit more delayed than expected, especially after we did get that spot BTC ETF approval in January. So just a little note here with regards to the potential Ethereum ETFs. In terms of Bitcoin itself, very much continuing to gravitate towards the 68,000 level. We had the move down on Tuesday, the move back on Wednesday, and now more or less flat on the day, hovering around that level here on Thursday. Nice move up here for BTC, back just above that 67,000 level right now. Ethereum really strong as well, up about 5%. Just above that 3,500 level, so nice look there for ETH. Solana up almost 10% here, 8.5%. Cardano up 4% here, and Dogecoin up about 14%. And we are brought to you by Benzinga Pro. You can sign up today for 50% off their premier news and research platform for retail traders with code TTV, capital letters. Use the link in the description to go to checkout.
Thank you, Adara.
All right, thank you, Ms. Adara, for all of that. Yeah, AMD did break that 180, and we got out of that one. And I was just like, we haven't really been nailing these. Like, yes, well, we did. I mean, we did get on it. The only name we misstepped yesterday was Intel. But again, back-to-back days, we thought some of these levels would hold, and they did not. And I was just saying to Adobe.
Nice.
I said that yesterday. I was like, oh, I was talking about Adobe, and then I was like, oh yeah, maybe we have Obi on the show. And I was like, and then I confused it the rest of the days. But no, Obi and I were just talking about this, about holding VWAPs and getting to the downside. And then we talked about NVIDIA possibly not going long at 912 or not going long at 910. But where did we say go long? Like down into here where there was some support. And I mean, that's exactly what happened. And there's $3. So it's like, it's frustrating because we don't have on some of the trades that I feel like are more risky, but the more risky ones seem to be paying off. So yeah, AMD definitely the weaker one today, man. I mean, it was really good that we were able to get some out there. We didn't really average back in to this. We talked about, not just because the execution problems, but just because of the way the day's been. AMD, we really identified that name was weak, and we screwed that up. And we had talked about that, man. These buys in here, it was really, I guess, this 182.50 that we didn't need to do. But we actually did okay on these most recent dip buys. But then we broke, and that's that. So I'm okay trying to maybe go short here against this 180. So we'll try that right now, and then here we go. It's out right now, and they're talking about the DOJ with Apple. So here we go. It's now falling into the lows of the day here, as I believe it's I'm just hearing it in my ear, 16 states. So I don't know how much was expected, but 16 states right now filing with the DOJ complaints, and I think it's probably time for Adara.
Yeah, I have more details on that. I was just about to throw there. Apple now down to about 2.6%, and I do have some more details to read out here. So the Justice Department, along with 17 states here, filing an antitrust lawsuit against Apple, basically stating that they're monopolizing the smartphone market. So pretty similar to what was reported last night, basically saying that Apple imposes too restrictive rules for the App Store to extract higher fees. So just manipulation, antitrust type allegations here, and the U.S. Attorney General Garland saying that if Apple is left unchallenged, it will only continue to strengthen its smartphone monopoly. So some comments there with regards, and some comments and context there with regards to that AAPL move to the downside, guys.
Oh, okay, so there you go. Yeah. Yeah, so, all right, so here goes Apple right now, downside on that DOJ. We'll wait to see. Down into 174 right now. Apple kind of getting blasted, and the thing is that we had discussed this trade, man. It's upsetting a little bit because I just was like, okay, we don't have a good read on Apple. Apparently we don't have a good read on AMD either. But yeah, that was right into that 200 period. There it goes, man, taking down 174. Oof. Apple's gone. So see you later. We're down here to 174, which looks like on the 20-minute, it's the 200 period moving average, but that's not something that I've really ever looked at. So we can do more research on that, but it looks like 173 maybe if you're trying to catch something there on Apple. That could be a trade that eventually pops in for you. But there's 174. It looks like we may get some bounced off movements there, but it's had such a nice move. I think anyways from 170, we sort of talked about that it does make sense that we're selling once again off 179. So that makes sense right there. Let's just wait to see what happens. I feel like I just got a fill somewhere. Okay, yeah, we did. So we just got Tesla long. It's going to be a little bit of a, oh no, actually I think that was a good fill. So Sharif asked me about execution. I think we just got a good fill there on Tesla. That made sense. So we might be back up right now. Okay, but take that with a grain of salt. So here we go. Tesla, we're back into the long. We like the 174. That level's worked for us. We just got a 174.13 fill, I believe. Yes. So we'll see if we get some out near 50 again, as that looks like a decent level there. And then if we're lucky enough to get up to the 50 period, that's 70, and then maybe higher. As you can see, the market's finally starting to make a little bit of a move back up to the upside here.
Yeah, very strong selling there on Apple. We were just talking about this being the largest volume candle on the day so far into that flush into, what is this, 174. So I am kind of watching this. Let's see if we get a little bit of a continuation there. We talk about that 11 o'clock kind of being an interesting time right now, where we're going to get that update.
Like I'm already out on
we only have, it's 10:36 right now, so we've got about 24 minutes left, and Apple continues to flush to the downside here. So we talked about that some of these levels from earlier this week. A little bit of a level here at 173 from a couple days ago. Not too strong, but definitely looking left. There's the first kind of bust stop that I do see is a little distinct from this week's action there on Apple. But yeah, we were talking about some of these names flushing quite heavily, and Sofi and Google both came in with quite some aggression there. Take a look at Google here. Very similar looking to Apple right now. We did break back below this 148. Take a look at this. A little bit of a distinct kind of tops here in and around that 148. We get above that, and we're coming right back in through that level on Google as of right now. Again, Apple kind of leading the way on this sell-off here, being the catalyst-driven move here. You can see the volume kind of coming in. So let's see what we do with this 174. I'm looking for a potential capitulation move. There's no sign right now. Maybe that large volume candle, maybe that initial kind of sign, but who knows? I'm going to be waiting till 11 to really see what comes out to take a potential trade on Apple right now. But as of right now, nothing too crazy. ARM, though, holding and sustaining its highs. 135's holding on ARM right here. So ARM quite strong, looking very different from some of the rest of these names here. Now, of course, NVIDIA holding some of its levels as well. But something that's holding much nicer, I'm seeing up here on my board is SMCI. Now, I wish I had the wrist to trade this ticker, but quite different there. Holding near some of its opening range highs there was the range here, 946, but a little bit of a candle open and close here at that 937. We are holding above VWAP here as well on the SMCI. So some of these chip names a little strong, but a lot of these large caps, large constituents, quite heavy to the downside. Apple continue. You know what? I'm going to pull up Apple on my main screen.
Apple's still going to the downside. We just made a monster trade though on Tesla again. So yeah, so we got out there at the 50 period. We also got out again. We're just waiting for those fills. So I just wanted to say that, like, you know, some of the fills aren't coming in as fast as I had maybe promised that they were. So just be very careful, because we're already out here at 67. So we get that. Oh, it just showed up. Okay, so we get that fill there at 67 out. So there it is. Okay, so we'll go bang on that one. It did come a little bit late. Again, it looks like a couple minutes. All right, so we are getting executions just a little late on that one. We're waiting now at We're waiting at 175. So we're going to be waiting at 175.50. There's another fill for us. So we just do wind up getting both of our fills up there. So we're out of half of that reload at the 50 period moving average. So those are good trades, man. Tesla, both bottom picks at 174 working out. We'll wait to see if we can get higher. But this market is going low. I think it's too bad. I thought we reversed here in AMD. I'm still praying that we're short, but I mean, the execution would have came in by now. I keep on refreshing. We're not short AMD, but that break of 180 is a short all day. So we don't have that. I put a stop order in case it filled. We don't have, like, I can't even cancel it. So maybe we're short. Imagine that. Imagine this short fills, because I do have a short breaking through 180, but it just didn't fill. Now I can't cancel it. So maybe I'll give this to Brankles to edit, to look at that. But there's Tesla still going higher right now. And Sofi as well did pull back off of those levels. So what's getting killed though, and you just talked about Apple, it's Apple.
Yep.
I feel really, you know, you have to trade what you think, what you believe is going to happen. And you know, we talked about a downside push in Apple. It was right on our watch list. We brought that DOJ news. We talked about it being Bloomberg. I sort of threw some shade on that a little bit, but it was 100% legit. And there it is, 16 states. Adara's brought that story. Are we waiting to go to Adara? Okay, we'll talk more about this, but there's Apple. We talked about 173 as possibly being a buy zone. So if you want to take a stab at it, just have your stop order, because there's 173 right there for Apple. So down 3%. Seems like it could go down more though. All right, Adara, what's up? Now I'm lost. See?
Apple virtually the only red name in its sector here. Electronic technology very much to the downside here after the antitrust lawsuit news. Worth noting as well, Apple did issue a response saying that it will rigorously defend against the issue, that it's wrong in the facts and on the law, and that it would hinder Apple from producing its consumer products. So just some notes there with regards to Apple's response to that suit. Other sectors to talk about, though, pretty much everything here overwhelmingly green. We have technology services also incredibly strong here, with the exception of Accenture, ACN, to the downside after very weak forward guidance for the quarter and year. Finance really strong across the board here. Health technology pretty strong with the exception of Merck and Eli Lilly. Precision manufacturing, retail trade, energy, minerals, transportation, all of these incredibly green, continuing off of that strength following the Fed yesterday, guys. Pretty much a good look across the board here, with AAPL bringing a lot of these mega tech names to the downside.
All right. Well, we're really long here on some of these names, and I don't really know if I'm in or out of these trades. So, all right. So we just bought some AMD down there. Orders filled up at that bottom spot, so I'm just going to try to trade out of this. I do have offers to get out if we do rip up here on AMD. It looks like we absolutely hammered that. We didn't get long again on this name, but AAPL. Right there. Look at that bounce at 173. It looks like it's going to try to hold for now. I don't know what to do. I have a pretty decent sized position here on AMD, and we're long and we're well in the money now on this one. I don't know if I can get out of this. You want to talk about Sharif panicking right now. I'll tell everybody I have 600 shares down here at the bottom of AMD. So I'm trying to get them out here to make this money back on this name, but we're trying to get out right now, and I do have layered offers. I don't even really know what to do right now, to be honest with you. So I guess we'll just wait, and hopefully it doesn't break lower on AMD. Tesla's trying to go higher right now. We have an offer still at 175.50 to see if we can get VWAP. So far, so good there. But my whole day right now is riding on whatever the hell is happening with this position. We're there. I just got some out at 82. I think I did anyways. We'll take another out there on Tesla. And yeah. No idea. Okay, here we go. We're starting to fill up now on AMD. Wow, those are delayed fills. But here we go, man. At least I can get out, that means. So let me just start punching some out now on this, and then we'll get that out. You got to hit that hallelujah thing, because, like, honestly, this is the big save right there. So, that was wait. All right, enough. Okay, wow, that was like, it'd be like, ooh.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a little.
We don't normally talk about share size there, but we're panicking.
Yeah, understandable, you know. Randy? Yeah, whenever that sound comes on, you gotta do a quick look over the shoulder there. But yeah, no, I'm kind of watching this Apple here. We did attempt to bounce off of this 173 as of right now, but nothing too crazy. We're pulling right back in. But yeah, that strong volume candle that we saw earlier, very interesting. So we got about 15 minutes left for that DOJ update right now, and yeah, I'm currently just waiting. What do you guys have on watch? Like I said, our executions are a little bit wonky right now, so I do have one position on, but nothing too crazy. But before that, we're gonna go over to Dara.
Keep an eye on these weight loss associated names here. I have Novo Nordisk up here, NVO. Wall Street Journal reporting that the Medicare agency is saying that drug plans can cover obesity drugs for uses other than obesity. So they mostly name basically heart disease related risks. They could also be covered for that. So as you can see here, big volume spikes to the upside on NVO. Eli Lilly also feeling a little bit of this on less volume here, guys.
All right, so maybe Adara will be trading Eli Lilly today. She likes to trade that name, but big spread there, 770 on Eli Lilly. Yeah, so we got up to 774, 775 there. You know, that's great news. We heard yesterday that the cost was probably going to be too expensive for a lot of these names. The cost was going to outweigh the benefits. So seems like yesterday's little move down on Eli Lilly. I guess it's not even a move down. I mean, 750 seems to be supported there. I think the minute you get, you know, big pharma and everything on board with this stuff, like as far as insurance companies are concerned, that's going to be a nice save for a lot of people there now that it's going to be covered, because part of the problem with Ozempic and all those, as from what I've heard anyways, is that it's quite expensive to deal with that, right? So, okay, I'm just going to, honestly, Obi, I'm just going to start getting some outman on this because I'm starting to not panic, but we are getting a nice, shout out to my guy over there. That was one of the best moments, like, you know, of all time. I mean, I was dropping keyboards. This guy's panicking. This is great. This is why we're here. These are real-time emotions, you know, like, and sometimes that happens. And honestly, like, I really feel like pretty relaxing now because, like, that popped in. I told you when that popped in. And I was like, oh my God, we're long AMD here and I can't get out. This is a problem. And I just started layering orders like immediately. You know, so again, now I have to slow down because I don't even know how many orders I have put out, but we just got a whole bunch out up here again, I think anyways, at 178.80. We will wind up still red on AMD, but it's not by much, as we did have a good fill down there at the bottom side of that trade. But what's really been working out for us is spin the damn money, man. Honestly, Tesla, like, I know my wife wants a Rivian, but Tesla's been real nice to us here today as buying these 174 bottoms. So, Obi, if you could buy one electric vehicle and you only had 100 grand to do so, what would you buy?
I'm not too sure because I was gonna say Lucid, but then I was like, no, that's nowhere near that price point.
That's why I said that, because I don't want you to say like, you know, the Lucid Dream or something like that. So basically, you could buy maybe the Rivian, you could buy the truck. I would say
the Rivian doesn't look too bad.
You could buy maybe a Model Y.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Ys are nice.
A little bit of everything.
Fabian saying Polestar. We've been seeing a lot of Polestar.
I like Polestar. So I wanted to say something about Polestar because the only reason why I slapped that fail on that is because I called up their Model 3 or whatever, Polestar 3 I think it is, and it was $100 and something $1,000, but that was a completely souped up version. I actually like Polestar. I agree with you. I've seen them on the road, and every time sort of a sexy car is seen by my wife, I get the texts all the time. So she saw Polestars in some, and it was matte black. It had a sick finish. It had the sport wheels on it, whatever, probably pimped out, and probably 100 grand. And she sent me that screen cap there as well. But you know what the thing is gas prices are starting to go, I don't think you don't drive, or maybe odd.
No, I do.
Okay, so I don't know how often you fill up, but it's getting expensive again.
Yeah, it's
around here.
It's moving around.
So anyways, I just wanted to say that, you know, maybe electric is becoming a little more reasonable, but energy is one of those things that you just sort of, you play with the good and the bad, you know, like when it's really low, what are you going to do? Stock up oil in your backyard? You know, so you got to,
take delivery of a couple of barrels?
Yeah, I did that back when it was worth nothing, and then they got delivered, and then I had to pay.
They actually paid you to take delivery, right?
Yeah, and then I realized when they showed up with 100,000 barrels of oil at my front door that had nothing to do with it, and I had to pay the guy to get rid of it again.
Right.
Yeah, that did not work out, so that was a failed experiment right there. But this is not a failed experiment. Let's go, man. It's Tesla. Nice upside move, and bang, because that's it right there. Tesla comes out 175.50. Hey, man, it's Sticky Note Nation, baby, and we're in a much better mood now. Why? Because AMD is going to the upside. Now, I just want to get these fills to come through here, and that'd be pretty nice. But AMD making those moves, man. Sofi not doing jack all. I apologize for giving you guys maybe the sleepiest name of all time today. Sofi doing absolutely nothing. All right. Was that a call for Adara? With Money Talk. So today we almost lost a bunch of it, but we made it back on some random fill down there on AMD. So let's go over to Adara and find out how our money's talking today.
Significant move to the upside here for the USD on this daily candle. Massive push up. We have gotten a lot of economic data today to talk about. Key among it, the initial jobless claims data coming in at 210,000 versus 212,000 expected. So a bit lower than expected. Also worth noting because one of the things that Fed Chair Jerome Powell was emphasizing yesterday was weaker labor data could show a bit of a slowing down. So interesting point there. S&P Global U.S. manufacturing a little bit higher than expected, as was global services PMI from the S&P. So both those worth noting as well. USA existing home sales for February also coming in higher than expected here. 4.38 million versus 3.95 million expected. Other things to keep an eye on today heading into the rest of the day. 12 p.m. we get Fed's bar speaking. Tomorrow we have some more Fed speak as well. Fed's bar again at 12 p.m. And I'm also seeing Fed's Bostic tomorrow at 4. So lots to keep an eye on with regards to the Fed and the USD. But right now, massive upside push here at DXY, guys.
Dixie.
I was just telling Big Patty Ice back there. He's like wondering if I'm still trading. And I'm just like,
Oh, are we?
okay, so I am still trading.
Yeah.
By the way. You know, when you're addicted to something, no. Okay, so here we go. Nice little upside move. I just wish we see now, like I'm trying to get more out here, and I just told you, Obi, okay, so.
When you have a passion for something.
Yeah, and addicted to it.
That might come along as a,
Dude, I'm literally.
as a symptom.
No. Like, if I wake up and I'm not feeling good, as long as I'm not, like, I don't mean feeling good as in sick. We should all take those times off. But, like, I told you this already. We were out late last night.
Right.
I had two $20 beers. $20 beers.
Damn.
But they're the bigger ones. So I still feel fine. But didn't get a whole bunch of sleep. But I'm coming in, you know, and I still feel 100% fine. And I know that sometimes you've taken time off, and it's just about feeling how you feel for yourself.
No,
you know, like
there are literally times where I'll wake up in the morning and I'll take a quick look at the market. And I'll just be like, yeah, I'm not really like I don't.
This is
gotta
like,
trust the gut sometimes. It's just
oh,
like
no,
yeah, I'm not
100%.
really, I'm not feeling
This is
it.
unlike any other job, man.
Yeah.
We eat what we kill, and if you're not in the right, I mean, this is your word, mental. I think.
Yeah,
I've heard
if
you
you're
say
not
that
in the
a bunch of times.
right mind space or mental.
Take a step away.
Yeah.
I just
Like,
can't do that.
Tomorrow's another day.
No,
but like, yeah, exactly. It was like, it's funny. I took, was it Monday? Monday I wasn't in. I was messaging Ray. I'm like, I'm like, oh, Apple's doing this and this and that. He's like, you need some rest. On Monday I wasn't in.
Yeah.
And I was messaging Wayne. I'm like, yo, did you take a look at that? He's like, yo, you need some rest. Look away from the market. Don't look at stocks. I'm like, oh.
Nah,
I'll try.
You should always look at.
But do or do not.
advice.
There is no try. So.
Bad advice. No, good advice. All right, so I wish I just closed my eyes because now we'd be over $1.30 in the money on 600 shares. So that would be a $900 winner. We'd be getting closer to a monthly payment on our Rivian. But there it is. It's a nice move to the upside right now on this. And I just want to tell you that, you know, everybody on this floor, literally everybody, trades with completely different share sizes. So I might take 600, Obi might take 6,000. You know, I don't.
Lower.
4,000?
Much lower.
Something like that. And again, it has nothing to do with that.
I'm learning how to manage my risk
Exactly.
well.
And I was just going to say that.
Like,
it's
you know,
it's
you
about
build the
doing
skills
that.
for that one trade and then.
Actually, I'm going to tell a story about my guy behind me right here, Ty. So I heard him panicking. He has the headset on right behind us. I heard him panicking about a position because we didn't have execution.
Right.
Okay. So I went and got a coffee, and I was like, yo, like, how did that turn out? Blah, blah, blah. Things like that, you know, just shooting the proverbial shit stuff. And anyways, as we go on, he goes, you know what, dude? It actually worked out great because it forced me to hold it. So your stop.
Hey, some perspective.
Right, and that's the same thing kind of happened to me on that first AMD trade where it came down into 180 and it bounced off of it. It didn't break. Right. But again, without executions, even if it did break, I might have not got filled anyways, and then it bounced up to that 180, 150 right here on AMD, and I was, or 182 actually, and was come to the chart, Fabian, in a second, and it was able to get out right there because we did not break that 180. So sometimes, like, you know, if maybe if I had a 180 quarter or something like that, I would have got out and then not able to do this. Right? Wow. Now we're really starting to go. We're actually going to be green on the day.
Nice.
Well, it's because we're 2 for 3. It just matters that, you know, we took bath here a little bit on AMD. And then we got that fill down there. And again, it's not like it was an improper fill. It's just the fact is that we were buying some of these dips down in here into 178. And I guess I thought execution was up. And I didn't mean to take that many shares, but we still meant to put shares on. So we'll take that and we'll be happy with it. And then just kind of celebrate the fact that today could have been a lot worse than it actually was. And I want to thank everybody for sticking with us, as potentially didn't have as many fills as we would have liked to have today. But Apple, if it's bounced off that 180, 173 now, I'm going to be okay. So there's the 173 break. So it does bounce off of it the first time, goes up to 174. That was honestly like we'll just hit fail on that 174, but at least it held 173 and gave you that out on the way back in. So there's that dip buy into 173 flat, and right now we're kind of holding it. So I feel like that was a decent trade. Maybe Apple does wind up holding that 173, but I'd wait for a big volume spike to see some capitulation, because right now it's still pretty strong to the downside there on Apple.
Yeah, it's like that initial volume bar. I was like, oh, is this it right here? We did get a bounce right after, but not yet. We're still flushing to the downside. And remember, just a few more minutes, 3 more minutes until we get that little bit of an update there. And I saw people in the chat. I think Elon and a couple other people in the chat were saying, yeah, Micron is going, MU is going. Yes, that is why I got out of my short. I was like, oh, we're making higher highs and holding 110 quite well. Let me just throw a stop in at a place where I think like I am going to be definitely wrong on the short. Yeah, I did get clocked out. We did have a little bit of delays on the fills, but I did get clocked out of that trade, and that's perfectly fine because it ticked up much higher. That 110 hold definitely pushed back through VWAP, and we are holding as of right now. So let's just take a quick look right here. So you can see that we were holding below VWAP right there. That was kind of the idea. I definitely got to do better. Look at this. This is a pretty bad entry in my opinion. I should be, if I observe that, now this is just me talking out loud to myself, if I observe that VWAP is holding, then maybe don't punch a chase on the left side of the move, going for a test into VWAP. Just a quick note for myself there. Better prices with a little bit of patience definitely go a long way there. And yeah, if I'm getting in closer to VWAP, I'm definitely risking a little bit higher there, but that's getting stopped out as well as of right now with this action. So that 110 and then the reclaim of that VWAP right here. You see this gray line is VWAP on my chart. 110.68. Micron is pushing back up to the upside there. But again, next little stop I have on watch right here, a little distinct kind of a shelf here in the pre-market. Sure, the low is at 111s, but take a look at this 112 holds. Let's see what we do with this 112 right now. Like I said, I'm going to stay patient. Orders are kind of down. Reddit is where I'm really focused with my daily risk today. Apple still to the downside. Oh boy, is that one flushing quite hard there. We got to just get short, man. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Sure, that's fine. But that 175 even. Let's look at some. Let's take a proper look at this Apple right here of how it could have been, or I could have definitely participated Micron there. You're long Micron? Yeah, I think that's a good look there, Sean.
Is there a level you will have liked for Apple? We only have 1 minute left.
Oh, wow, yeah, 112 coming right back in. Time flies. Yeah, no, I think that 173, that's what I was watching, and now we're trading below that. So next stop, week low right here on Apple. We talked about that 172.5, and we're coming right into that 172.5 right now.
Yeah, thank you, Obi, for another great show. I just want to talk about quickly one thing before we go get out of here. So we talked about, remember we didn't write any levels down for Micron. We said we only wanted, I know you just went short, but for me, I only wanted to go long. So we talked about getting long on Micron, wait for dip buys, wait for support to develop, things like that. So on Micron, that's why I went long right now. So we are now in the money, 40 cents. We were just a little bit higher than that. So we'll go, we're trying to cook up a little bit of a winner now on Micron. There it is. Now it's 50 cents. So we're long right now at 111.37. And let me explain to you the trade, and then we'll throw it over here, and then we're gone. So there's VWAP, right? So we were waiting for VWAP. We were waiting for dip buys. Obviously, down here, there was a lot of support. I don't have to tell you that we did have a couple issues, so we stayed away from it. But once we broke above VWAP right now and then took out this level right there, 111. Thanks, Obi, for at least looking at this, because I called it up and just was like, I like the 111 long, and there it is right now. It's a 70-cent winner in a matter of 3 minutes as Micron going upside. It's a small starter position. I'm trying to get out at 112.85. So I want to see up here, and then I want to see into this level, 113. Let's see if we can get about $1.50 on this Micron trade. Why the heck not? Got a nice little win here for Micron to end the day. Tesla, still continuing to make a nice little movement to the upside as well. I want to thank everybody for watching us, and thank you for your patience today. I want to thank Obi for coming through. This guy's coming back at 2 o'clock, which is going to be great. But for right now, we've got the big show. It's Sharif. It's Adair. Sofi's going up, by the way. Let's kill them with your midday. What's the lesson quickly?
Divergence, pullback, confirmation.
All right, I don't know why I couldn't just wait 5 seconds to throw it over there. Divergence, pullback, confirmation.
Interest.
So now we're confirmed on that. AMD, $1.30 in the money, so we didn't do this today. There's a dollar club for AMD. It's a dollar club now for Micron. It's $1.60 for Tesla. We're ready to rock and roll. And it's amazing, guys. It's an amazing 5 cents for Sofi. Let's throw it back over to these guys as we're green.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show.